You guys will eventually get here. You're going to eventually get here. Come on. Come on closer to Big Sales. Welcome aboard here for the next 4 hours. Do me a favor. Please hit the like button. Super chats. Got to thank you guys. Before the show even gets going, we got a couple super chats that we're going to get to, and then we'll get this bad puppy going here. Big Z, let's see if we can rifle these things off here. We'll get the show going. We'll show you how it's done here. These super chats that you guys are sending, we appreciate them. Eagles are not a place where coaches want to be. This is going to go into the theme of the day here. Yes, indeed. And I agree with you, Khalid. Absolutely. Next one, Big Z. And then we'll get the bad puppy rolling here. I'm telling you, what happened to Frank Reich? Don't hear his name mentioned in the interview pool. Frank Reich right now wants to get the OC in place. He'll come then in on a consulting role with Nick Sirianni. I told you this before, and Frank said this before to you. Guys, he does not want to be the OC of the team. That ship has sailed for Frank Reich. He's going to come in as an assistant or a consultant type guy. He's not going to be the offensive coordinator. He doesn't want that role. Okay? So let's get into this here. We found some information out about the Tampa interview with Mike McDaniel. Obviously, Mike McDaniel was never going to ever in a million years take the Philadelphia Eagle OC job. The Philadelphia OC job is not a good job. It's not a good job. Based on what? The quarterback and the head coach and the restrictions you have if you're going to bring your offense in. Why do you think Brian Daboll would be more apt to take the Tennessee OC job than take the Eagle OC job? People think because what? The Eagles are a better organization than Tennessee? Of course they are. That's not why he would take the job. He takes the job because he's going to have autonomy. And you know that thing that John McMullen says that no OC ever going into a place is ever going to have autonomy. Complete autonomy. No shit. The requirements are this. A head coach can overrule any play at any time, and who handles 2 minutes into the half and who handles 2 minutes at the end of games. The head coach handles all timeouts. The OC doesn't supersede that, but the OC does have autonomy in how the approach of the game, if you're going to allow him with his playbook, is to be run. Can the head coach go, I don't want to run that play? Of course he can. If you don't want that dynamic, fire the coach. There is no doubt. Guys, do me a favor, hit the like button. Okay, here's why. And again, I was given more information on the Tampa interview that Mike McDaniel did last Friday. Mike McDaniel did the same thing he did in Detroit. He went in and told Lovie Smith what he needed to take the job, and they hedged on it. The interview didn't go well. The Glazers wanted to hire him. Mike McDaniel said, no, thank you, I'll pass. Why? The quarterback and the head coach. Again, what's a better option for him if he's taking an OC job? It's Herbert and Jim Harbaugh, who's got complete autonomy over the franchise in Los Angeles. He's got complete autonomy on what to do. I'll get to that. So he wanted to bring in his own offensive line, run coordinator guy. He wanted to bring in his wide receiver coach. They said no. John McMullen's right. These guys like Daboll and Stefanski and McDaniel, these guys were being recruited. It's the first time I've seen this process flipped inside out when it came to hiring of offensive coordinators and head coaches. I've never seen it like this. And I think because the difference is in this hiring cycle, two things happened. And then a third began. John Harbaugh got fired at Baltimore, which is a coveted job. Mike Tomlin resigned in Pittsburgh. Then McDermott got knocked out of the playoffs, and you have Allen up there. That's what's changed. The Arizona job, the Browns job, those are shitty jobs. Those aren't very good jobs. They're going to be in the hiring cycle in 2 years looking for a new head coach and most likely looking for another quarterback. They're in the revolving door of bad. Nobody wants those gigs. You think anybody really wants the Browns job? For what? To coach a player like Shedeur Sanders, who's not an NFL starting quarterback? Or to do what? Wait for Arizona to get the quarterback right? How is the owner not embarrassed? I'm obviously thinking that you're talking about Jeffrey Lurie. All right, so let me get into the Eagle thing. There is no doubt. And by the way, if you listen to any agent or you listen to any team, Mike McDaniel was the most coveted offensive coordinator in the entire hiring process. And that includes the Eagles being involved in it. They were clearly trying to convince him to take an interview. He had no interest. Why? Hurts and Sirianni. It had far less to do with the owner. Here's the case. The Spanos family, Dean Spanos is a horrible owner. I covered that team for 5 years. We were the flagship station. The Mighty 1090 in Southern California. Covered all of LA and San Diego. He's a horrible owner. He doesn't even own his own stadium. Do you know that the Spanos family is the only team in the National Football League that doesn't own their own stadium? They're renters. They rent from Stan Kroenke. This guy was such a bad business guy, he couldn't even get his own stadium built. He's a renter. Dude, the only thing that they've gotten right since they bought the team from Gene Klein back in the day, is the hiring of Jim Harbaugh, who has complete autonomy over the Charger hirings. So Mike McDaniel went like this. Okay, who's got the most stability? Who is a great head coach? Who's a great calling head coach? And who has one of the great arms in the game? The Chargers. Nobody's going to go and work with a limited quarterback and a guy like Sirianni, who is, without a doubt, the rumors were even that he were going to fire him after 23. There was even talk of them firing him after the first 4 games last year. They don't look at that coach on the market and go, Nick Sirianni's some savant coach. They look at him as more of a meddler. What coordinator in his right mind would work with that? Look at what Kellen Moore. And by the way, don't you think the coordinators that saw what the Eagles did to Kellen Moore, you don't think that weighs on their mind? Kellen Moore couldn't even run his playbook. This guy had to change his complete playbook up so that he could work in Philadelphia. He couldn't even run his own playbook. Thank God Saquon Barkley had the year he had. The OC job in Philly is a brutal job. The quarterback's limitations, the ownership and head coach's involvement in the game makes it a job. And by the way, it is an indictment on your owner, your quarterback, and your head coach. I don't know how you don't look at it that way. Hey, you could think about all the freaking winning you want. Nobody wants the job. And you're going to hire a Timu OC. Who do you think you're going to hire? Cliff Kingsbury? Brian Dable? Any of the big name guys? You could save it. You're not hiring any of them guys. And by the way, that's not a theory or an opinion. Look at what's happening. They don't want the gig. Lurie turning into a horrible owner, allowing this foolishness to happen. Why is he letting his money go to waste like this? And yes, Roseman gets some blames too in this here too. No doubt about it. I agree. Roseman and the owner in all of this has made an unattainable Marshall. Nobody in their right mind that's a talented guy that wants to be a head coach again is going to take the Eagle OC job. You're going to get a guy like Kellen Moore who's been blown out twice, or a guy that needs the job like Billy Bob, Jim Bob Cooter, or Zach Robinson, or some of these other guys. Josh Gazard is another guy that you might land on. Hey, get this. Don't be shocked if you hire that guy. Okay? Don't be shocked, Marsh. Did you see what Kevin Patullo put out? What was that report that Kevin Patullo? There's a report that Kevin Patullo said, hey, look, I'm looking forward to working with the new OC and expanding on what we did here last year. What? They didn't fire the guy because they really weren't disappointed with the guy because they're going to do the same stuff they did a year ago. How you doing? No coordinator's going to come to Philadelphia. Dude, all the stuff that I've been telling you for 5 years about the quarterback and the head coach, the actions of these guys not wanting to come tell you what you need to know. That's not a theory. I've been telling you this for 5 years. 5 years. But here's something that you can at least rest your mind on. Hey, Nick Sirianni can always throw out. That may be well and good, Sales. I'm 50-18 in 4 years. So if we hire Timu OC or we don't or not, does it matter? Nope. That means same old, same old. The main thing, the main thing. How am I wrong? No one wants the job. Get this. This guy says I'm wrong, and no one wants the gig. Brian Daboll doesn't want the job in Philly. He doesn't want it. By the way, I'm wrong. Well, then you should take a look at the people who you're going to hire. You're going to hire a stiff. A stiff. And you're going to be going, why'd we hire him? Should have kept Kevin Patullo. You watch. The words are going to come out of your mouth. We hired Kevin Patullo 2.0. By the way, there's another thing to take into consideration. Jeffrey Lurie not wanting to pay for assistant coaches. Why do you think you hire from within? Do you know what was told to me by Drew Rosenhaus? You know why they elevated Kevin Patullo? Jeff Stoutland's under contract for $3.5 million. And you got a couple other coaches in there that are making some pretty decent money. You would have to fire those guys and pay those dudes. And then bring in new dudes and pay those dudes. Why not just fire the head coach? Remember something. If you hire Mike McDaniel, you're going to pay in excess of $3.5 to $4 million, maybe $5 million, to get him in the building. Okay, O-line coach is going to cost you $2.5 to $3 million. Quarterback coach is going to cost you at least $1 million. Wide receiver coach is going to cost you at least $750,000. You may pay another $8 million in assistant coaches just for the offensive coaches you want to bring in. Plus, you may have to pay $18 million just to bring in a new staff and a new OC. Eagles ain't doing that, nor are the Bucs doing that. Not doing that. That's why you elevate from within. Why? You don't have to fire anybody. You don't have to pay anybody new. All you do is bump up Kevin Patullo's pay a couple $100,000. It was cheap. The Eagles elevated Kevin Patullo because it was cheap. Not because he was good, because there's no other reason. There was no other reason to elevate Kevin Patullo, who had been passed over twice, than the fact they didn't want to spend money on assistant coaches and they didn't want to fire guys. Well, I mean, why else would you elevate a guy who's never called a play before? And people are going to, but they're not cheap. Really? Well, they're not cheap. Well, they've been cheap on defense for the last 40 years. I mean, and to be honest, I can't really blame the quarterback, Sills. This coach and GM is way too prideful. And we are experiencing the slow death successfully. Businessman, keep smarter people around to maintain success. That's correct. You keep great people around you because you know why? Smarter people you have around you, the smarter your organization is. You don't hire a guy who's never been in the room before taking bullets like that, like Kevin Patullo. No disrespect to him. Marsh, you're right. This is ego. I said it to you before. You've at least left 2 Super Bowls on the table. Okay? And hey, see these guys moaning? I'm right. No one wants the job. Okay. Why doesn't anybody want the OC job in Philly then? Let's hear this brilliance. Let me hear your brilliance in this. Why doesn't anybody want the Philadelphia Eagle OC job? I can't wait to hear these. What are excuses? First, you have excuses for the quarterback. Then you have excuses for why somebody doesn't want the gig. I'm curious. Why don't they want the job? Why not? Seals, do you think Dable and McDaniel are out because they were told AJ and Goddard weren't returning? No, because they were told you had to work within Nick Sirianni's offense. That's why. No one wants the job. It's not hard to understand. I love that picture, by the way. Thank you. Nick Sirianni's why. I'm curious. Why doesn't anyone want the job? I'll listen. Shields, not sure if this has been talked about, but do you think there's a good thing we didn't get McDaniels? Yeah, he's not the right fit. I don't think he has the mental to work with the Philly media and the fans. Hey, guess what? Probably so. Soft-ass media down in Miami. Absolutely. You know, he'd be questioned all the time. Maybe he didn't have the mettle to work in Philly. Probably so. But I know this. He wanted to work with the 2 best options. Who are the best options at quarterback and head coach? Herbert and Jim Harbaugh are the best. What do you got up in Buffalo? We got Allen, and then who? I don't know. What do you have in Baltimore? Got the quarterback. Who's the head coach? All right. Pittsburgh. You don't have either. Tampa, Bowles and Mayfield. Yeah, not quite. Herbert and Jim Harbaugh. And then you have Philly. I got to work within Howie. There's too many Chiefs in the kitchen. Howie, Nick, owner, Jalen. No, thank you. No, thank you. No, thank you. By the way, it's not a theory. It's the actions of what you're watching. Get this. I'm not giving you an opinion. I'm telling you what's happening. You can see it for yourself. It's an indictment on your head coach and your quarterback. And how the owner and the GM want to run the team. This team is fraudulent. See you next year when the entire staff is wiped out. What about Frank Reich? To me, he's the only fit. Frank does not want to be the OC. He said it here when he was the head coach of the Stanford Cardinal. He told you that. Also, do you think the Eagles think Cooper is a viable No. I think there is a great chance the kid turns out to be a really good player. A.J. Brown? No. I do not believe that. Okay? No. Guys, Mike McDaniel was being recruited. He wasn't begging and standing out of the NovaCare Center and holding his resume and go, please hire me. You had to beg him. They were trying to beg him to take an interview. He said no. I have no interest in coaching that quarterback or working with Nick Sirianni. It's an indictment on, again, nobody's talking about, this is not about winning. This is about hiring. This is about hiring. You think these coordinators gave a shit about winning a Super Bowl? No. He took the Charger job because the Charger job, he'd rather work with Jim Harbaugh and Justin Herbert. Why? He could put his offense in with, and they kind of think on the same line. They're kind of goofball guys. And I think that offense is going to be spectacular next year. I'd like to see A.J. Brown with the Chargers and Justin Herbert. See how that thing would look. You put Justin Herbert and A.J. Brown in Los Angeles with Mike McDaniel and Jim Harbaugh, they'll win the Super Bowl. With that defense, they'll win the Super Bowl. Sills, their only option is Charlie Weiss Jr. Yeah, he's green in the NFL. They have to hope he turns it to the next Josh McDaniel. Josh McDaniel is the best OC in football right now. What happens with fans is they cloud their judgment on a guy because he failed as a head coach. Dude, his last two quarterbacks that he's worked with as an OC, I mean, he's got another guy in the AFC Championship game with a different head coach. He's the best OC in football. Strap up, boys and gals. Unless they haven't come to Jesus about this current structure, we ain't going anywhere. Don't expect anything this upcoming season. Hold on. I wouldn't go down this lane yet. That's not what this conversation is. I'm not. Dude, you got free agency, the draft. You're 58. You've won 50 ball games. You're 50-18. Doing it this dopey way. What's costing you is Super Bowls, not wins. This structure is costing you Super Bowls. You're looking at the micro right now, and not all of it. It's cost you 2 Super Bowls, this structure, not wins. You're 50-18 doing it this dopey way. You've dropped 2 Super Bowls on the table because of this structure. The Philadelphia Eagles should have 4 Super Bowls by now. 4. 4, not 2. But because of this dopey way, you've laid 2 at the doorstep. It's not going to cost you wins. You're 11-6. It's not terrible. Actually, it's exceptional for the floor. You're costing yourself Super Bowls. Sills reports are out. Eagles have $10 million in cap space and $44 in dead cap this offseason. It's going to be hilarious. And then you think you're going to move AJ? Okay, if you move AJ, you have no room to move. Right, I want Super Bowl Sills. Right, hey, Marsh, when they throw 50-18 at you, phenomenal. And I agree. But what you're saying is right. This dopey way, you're never going to hire good coaches. And get this, what sucks is this. You hire exceptional coaches on defense. I mean, exceptional. You got 4 coordinators on that defensive staff. Bobby King, Christian Parker, Clint Hurt, and of course, Vic. You got 4 dudes over there that could go anywhere and be a coordinator. Anywhere. You ain't got one dude on offense that's worth a shit Nick's not even a good coordinator. He started his career out in Philly 2-4. Who said Nick Sirianni was a good coordinator anyway? Because why? He worked with Phillip Rivers? Based on what? We shitty coaching on off. It's shitty coaching. It's great talent. Here, you have an A talent offensive roster, and you have a C coaching staff. On your defense, you have a B roster. You have an A coaching staff. And that A coaching staff makes that B roster play like A students. Your offense has A talent, and your offensive coaches make you play like C students. What happened? That's right. The Philadelphia Eagles offense, they got coach killers over there. Hurts is dying on the vine, not being the same player he was in 22. AJ's moaning and bitching. How could you look at the football team this year in 25 and go, what an enjoyable year that must have been? Funny, the defensive guys looked like they enjoyed themselves going to work. The offensive guys, it looked like it was like pulling teeth or going to the dentist. Seals, do you think it's more the quarterback or the coach? I'm worried about not being able to bring in their position guys. I think it's all of that. If you're a decent coordinator like Brian Dable and Mike McDaniel, I'm going to look at the coach and go, so the coach gets in the way, one. Secondly, the quarterback's limited, which we all knew that. Some of you didn't. And you still, that's funny. The coordinators that don't want the jobs are telling you, I don't want to coach that kid. And I don't want to coach that kid. You know what? I'll tell you this. They might want to coach that guy if Nick wasn't in the building. Is it more an indictment on Nick or Jalen? I think it's Nick. Hurts shows you he can win. I think it's Nick. Nick changed Kellen. They elevated Kevin Patullo because it was cheap and there was going to be no pushback on whose assistants were going to come in. There was no pushback on assistants, and it was cheap. Perfect. I'm not sure what else to say. Right? Get this. I'm not even. You're going to win games because of your talent, because of Howie. Xander made something for me in the show. I don't know, Z, when did you do that? Sileo says that they win because of Howie. Well, I'm paraphrasing it. Yeah. I would also think Fangio being on the staff made McDaniel being hired as OC very unrealistic. Probably. Because if he looks at Vic and that culture, he told Vic it wasn't a right environment. Okay. I mean, see here. All right. Hey, Marsh. Thank you, brother. You've been awesome, man. Thank you for supporting us. Seriously, at this point, hire Kingsbury. I'm going to write this down here. Kingsbury and fire Nick. This roster is going to go to waste. This is an indictment on Nick. Nobody wants to work with him. I think you're right. AJ Marsh, you just broke the code. AJ don't want to work with him. OCs don't want to work with him. Am I wrong? The OCs are telling you the same stuff that AJ told you all year. Am I wrong? Marsh. This is the shit AJ's been telling you. This is the shit AJ Brown has been telling you about this offense all year long. Right? Marsh. Right? This is what the receiver's been telling you. This guy runs a pathetic offense. He ain't pissed off at Hurts. He's pissed off at Nick. Nick's the problem. But hang on. Nick fires back and goes, I don't give a shit what you think. Hurts is going to play in the sandbox I put him in. Plain and simple. Until 18 turns into 18 and 50, we ain't doing anything different. That's why OCs don't want to work here. Nick actually has the upper hand. Well, I'm not hiring that guy. I'd rather hire a team who's stiff. I win. You don't. You ain't upgrading shit. And you're hiring Zach Robinson, Josh Grizzard. You got them guys. Get used to it. Mike McDaniel, Brian Dable, Cliff Kingsbury. Kingsbury had a deal, a 3-year contract on the table. Comes in and goes, I want to have my own run coordinator. No. Jeff Stoutland was the deal breaker. Okay, well, I'm out. He didn't need the money. He was still being paid by Arizona, and they had offset money with Washington. Cliff Kingsbury just came out of a 3-year deal, and he didn't even coach the Cardinals, making $12 million a year and $3 million with the Commanders. Now that offset, so it was $12 million over the last 3. You think he's going to take a stupid job that Nick Sirianni's going to tell him what to do? They don't think he's a good offensive-minded guy. I mean, why else wouldn't you want? How is this job not a coveted job? If you have all this winning, why doesn't anybody want to work here? Ask yourselves that. I'm not sure why you debate that. Hard to work under someone you think you're better than. That's in any work environment. Most OCs know more than Nick. Players even know it. AJ knows it. Okay, get this. Who the hell would want Dable? He's one of the hottest names right now. He's interviewing for a head coaching job. You interviewed him. Who would want him? You interviewed him. And he's going to take the Titans job. You know why? Robert Saleh's going to have final say. He's the head coach. But Brian's going to have complete autonomy. O-line coach, wide receiver coach, pass coordinator, quarterback coach, style of play, complete control over the direction of Cam Ward. Go do your job. That's what Belichick and Vrabel do in New England. Josh McDaniels, I'm taking the defense. That's your baby. I'll make decisions on timeouts and challenges. And if I want to do something different in game, that's my right to veto. But this baby's yours. Go at it. Why do you think New England's got a great chemistry of developing quarterbacks? Because the OC's got complete control. At least Saleh knows defense. Right. Brian, this is your baby. Here's the money. Staff's been fired. Complete control. You get to fill all the offices on the offensive side. You and me get to do it together. And I'm going to take your opinion more than mine when it comes to offensive style of play that you want, because that's what we're looking for, Cam. And I'm going to put my complete trust in you. Nick don't trust these hires. Or he'd go like this, go ahead, do your job. No, Nick wants you to work his way. That's why no one wants to work with him. Nobody wants to work with Nick Sirianni. Or they would. This is not an opinion. Or they would. By the way, do I think it's personal? No. You've cost yourselves 2 Super Bowls with this way. Cost yourself 2 Super Bowls. Time will tell who's right. I don't believe Nick's an idiot. Okay? No, he's not. He knows how to play the political angle of the Eagle organization. He's working with guardrails. Even Avant said Hurts struggles with complex offenses. He's not a hot take guy. Hot take guy. People say that bullshit about me. Hot take guy. Here's something else. So LeSean McCoy says he's heard from sources that the team has been running a basic offense because Hurts can't really do the more exotic things. This is one of your own. I did a lot of digging, and I won't throw them under the bus, but I know some people and what the problem is. We can't do different exotic looks and different formations and different motions because Jalen Hurts can't do it. Signed, Shady McCoy, not Big Sills. You got coordinators who don't want to coach him. You got former players who are telling you, and yet you refuse to believe it. This is shit I've been saying for 5 years. 5 years. All of a sudden now everybody's got the hot take. Hot take. I told you. See, look at this. Well, nobody said Shady's a genius. You don't have to be a genius to know players on the team and people inside the organization. M. Reyes will lead you to believe that he knows more people inside the Eagle organization than Shady McCoy does, who was just put into their Hall of Fame. Okay. Here's a dude sitting in his basement in his drawers telling you he knows more people than Shady McCoy inside the NovaCare Center. That's all you need to know right here about this dude. Who is a decent coordinator that they interviewed so far? Please list them. I think Mike McDaniel is a great coordinator. I think Dable has a chance to be a really good one. I would say those two. I think Clint Kubiak is going to be a hell of a head coach. Sills, get this. Ringless Shady doesn't know shit. Rings don't have anything to do with somebody turning your job down. Hey, get this. Mike McDaniel don't have a ring. He told you to go F yourselves. Same with Brian Dable. I don't want that job. This ain't about rings, guys. This is about getting a job. You think winning a Super Bowl is going to get you a job? No. Having a high-powered offense and putting up those numbers, Sue, that you guys talk shit on, that's what's going to get these guys a job. How can you blame Sirianni when you say Hurts is limited? Don't you think Nick's offense would look different if he had a different quarterback? Yes. Okay, I saw Nick Sirianni as the offensive coordinator his first year as a head coach. You were 2-4. You were 2-3 or 2-4, whatever it was. It was like after Atlanta, he gave the play calling because he didn't know how to handle Hurts. Okay. He didn't know how to handle Hurts. They brought in Steichen. So you're right. Nick's offense would look different. This goes to Nick not trusting the quarterback and the quarterback not being good. I think it's both the guys. Not just Nick. I think it's both. The quarterbacks, but they're 50-18. Get this. Love affair with stats. Well, why is Brian Dable going to Tennessee and Mike McDaniel going to Los Angeles. You tell me. Ain't got to do with ain't got to do with rings. Has nothing to do with rings. But still, how did Sirianni make Hurts look good? But Nick couldn't make Hurts look good. Well, because that guy knows how to handle people like Daniel Jones and Jalen Hurts. Nick doesn't know how to coach Jalen Hurts. So what does he do? They take the ball out of his hands. The best way to win with Nick and Jalen, according to Nick, is Hurts not throw the ball across the middle of the field or any other way with high volume. How are you not watching that? Do you understand that you have so much talent on offense that if you didn't have that talent, you'd be a 5-win team? You wouldn't win games like Kyle Shanahan. Remember when I was having this conversation with Xander? How do you go into a football game and you're the Eagles and you have by far the more talented roster versus San Francisco? And how do they beat you with that shell of a team? They were better coached. There's no other way. You had skill everywhere compared. Christian McCaffrey, Purdy were the only people that could start on the Eagles. Those are the only dudes that could start on the Eagles. The rest of them, you had a better roster, but they were just better coached. They were just better coached. Then they go up against a team that's good and well coached, and they got murdered. Yeah, Purdy. Purdy's better from the pocket than Hurts. He'll always be. Dude, if you think that Jalen Hurts is a better pocket passer than Brock Purdy, that's part of the problem with some of you folks. That you're still in this la-la land. That this guy's going to turn into, and if you ran Matthew Stafford's offense, he could. You tried that in 23. He was a turnover machine. Man. I listen. You're kidding yourselves. You're kidding yourselves. Hey, I got it. Yet none of the elite quarterbacks everyone loves can get. That has nothing to do with hiring right now. The coaches are telling you, I don't want to work with the quarterback and the head coach. Get this. How is that this rage bait when they're fucking turning your job down? Explain that to me. Why is AJ hated here? AJ hates your offense. The coordinating prospects hate your offense here and hate the quarterback and hate the coach. But you don't want to believe it and you don't want to see it. Get this. Look at this. See this here? These people are in denial because people's actions are showing you. This is just stupid. This is just stupid stuff going back and forth. You don't want to accept the fact the coaches around laugh at your offense, laugh at that quarterback, and don't want the job. Sills, we win. That has no bearing on what they want to do and where they want to work. You can win all the Super Bowls you want. They don't want to work here. Because the quarterback's limited and Nick's over their shoulder. Well, Sills, we win. I know you win. You win a lot of great games. You've left 2 Super Bowls on the table, probably, in my opinion. There's no pressure in coaching and effing Tennessee and LA. Right. No, you know why? Fastest way to get a coaching job is working with Jim Harbaugh and Justin Herbert. And if I'm Brian Dable, I get to pick my people and my coaches that I feel like when I go to Tennessee. It's got nothing to do with any of that shit. It's got everything to do with what they want. Remember something. You're recruiting these guys. These guys aren't in dire need. They got options, man. And when these coaches have options, the Eagles are at the bottom of the list. Deal with it. Hey, by the way, this is not an opinion. This is what's going on. This is not an opinion. I mean, you're denying what's actually going on. You're denying it. Okay? You're denying it. But, dude, by the way, if you think that they didn't try recruiting Mike McDaniel to come in for an interview, you're out of your mind. Jimmy Sexton is going around telling that they were trying to do everything to get an interview with him. Jimmy Sexton's his agent. Jimmy Sexton said, "You're not going to Philly." No, not happening. Seals, how can anyone who the OC is? How can anyone care who the OC is? We have Nick and Jalen. Offense regardless of what? Right. Well, Kellen Moore is a great example of this, Curtis. I will worry about the OC hires when the era has passed. See this stuff right here? This is irrelevant what's going on right now. Lamar AFC Championship game performance. Josh Allen AFC Championship game performance. Any Herbert playoff games. Burrow Super Bowl performance. Hurts either Super Bowl performance. They don't compare. What does that have to do with hiring? Jalen Hurts is nowhere near Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, or Lamar Jackson. You're foolish to think this. You are freaking foolish. You don't have to be an elite quarterback to win a Super Bowl. You guys don't want to hear that either. You don't have to be. Non-elite players have won the thing. You think that if you win a Super Bowl, that automatically makes you elite. It's not true. Nick Foles ain't elite. Nick Foles is not elite. Joe Flacco's not elite. Brad Johnson's not elite. Trent Dilfer's not elite. Come on, man. Who else? Craig Morton's not elite. People don't get what you're saying. It's not they don't want to work with Hurts. They don't want, correct. That's right. It's the combo. It's Nick and Hurts. Correct. You're right. Andrew, that's probably the better way. It's the combo. That's correct. You're right. I mean, that's the combo. Yeah, these guys, I love Doug. Doug's been on our program. You know what I think of him. Jeff Hostetler and Doug Williams aren't elite. He's clutch in one game. Hey, Sills, hope all is well. Thank you, brother. Great. Is Eli elite? They'll have 2 rings on the table. I agree, Sills. That's what I'm talking about. The way you do business, I think you should have 2 more Super Bowls in the last 10 years. What's wrong with Jim Bob? I don't think there's anything wrong with him. I don't think there's anything wrong with the guy. But it's not going to matter. Don't you remember what I said to you a couple days? God, you know what? I say things to you and you guys forget. Firing Kevin Patullo is irrelevant. It's a stupid fire. It's irrelevant. It's irrelevant. By the way, they demoted him. As we said here, they would demote him and not fire him. He's not fired. Why? Because Nick wants him. So they kept him he's now in the Howie Roseman Memorial Closet. I never said that Frank Reich would be the offensive coordinator. I said he would be on the staff after this settles. Okay? I've never deviated. Bro, you're a freaking dumbass. You never listen because you've got your Eagle knee pads on all day for 4 hours, for 20 hours a week. You scrape around on your knee pads. Philly fans have turned into Jalen. It's so sad. Yeah, instead of worrying about the franchise, they're worrying about the feelings of the quarterback. Screw that BS. If I said OC, I meant he would be on that staff. We had Frank on the show say it. Okay, anyway. Frank said on this program he did not want to be the offensive coordinator. He wanted to be a consultant. Okay? Go back and listen to it. We have it in the archives. It's the last interview we did with Frank when Frank was the head coach of the Stanford Cardinal. Go listen to it. He'll tell you. They offered me a job. They were carving out a position for me. I did not want to be the OC. I wanted to be in a different role. That's what he said. Nothing's backtracking. It's on tape. Leon, go listen. Holy cow. You guys don't want to hear the fact that your OC job's a shit job because of Nick and Hurts. I've never seen anything like it. Can't accept it. Thank you, brother. You just can't accept it. You just can't accept it. Hey, let's do this. Okay? Okay. It is. Wake up. Thank God we have our archives. Great job by Xander as usual. Go listen to it. It's there. We have it for you. I asked him I asked him, do you want to be the OC? He goes, I don't want that role. As a consultant, I would. Okay? Go listen. You can make all your lies up here. Go listen. Steichen will be back in 27. Maybe. The word is out. The league knows that if you're the OC in Philly, you won't be able to run your offense. You just have to use their playbook and be a yes man. Yes. By the way, Battle Royale is on at 4:30. Correct. Yes, it is on. Man, I didn't believe today. You know what? I thought you guys would fight this. I really did. I didn't think for that long, though, that you would really go down that lane. I really didn't think that. That you would go down that lane. Okay. All right. I didn't. I did not believe that you would go down that lane. I didn't. Okay. I mean, I didn't. I didn't think you'd take this long. So fire Nick, trade Hurts, then what? Rebuild? No. This is not about what you're doing now. I've told you since day one. it doesn't matter who you hire. Nothing's changing. Nothing's changing. The firing of Kevin Patullo, they don't want a guy coming in here like Cliff Kingsbury and putting his offense in. Why would Nick want that? I'm 50-18 in 4 years with 2 Super Bowls. You're not changing. The Eagles think, get this, the Eagles think that they're injuries away from being a Super Bowl team. I'm not sure they're wrong. Instead of talking about a dynasty, here we are wasting A-plus players' careers and Super Bowl chances on this system. That's right there. That's the headline today. Right there, Larry Birdman. That's the headline. Hey, what happened to Byron Leftwich? He was good. I actually like Byron Leftwich. Byron Leftwich is a 600 attempt guy. The hell does he know about RPOs? Dude, you got to marry up the right tandem. You can't just put a dude in the room and go, what about that name? Look at style of play. Then that name fits. The name is second. The style of play is first. Nick Sirianni's style of play doesn't mesh with Hurts. He's made it mesh. You know why? He can't throw the ball, and we're going to run zone runs right into a wall. We're going to play great defense, and we're going to be limited on offense. But one thing we're not going to do, we're not going to turn the ball over. And the one thing that Hurts does have, Hurts has big play capabilities in a game where he can make 3 or 4 plays. Can I tell you, I never thought about this before, but I'm going to tell you who I think Jalen Hurts reminds me of. He reminds me of the way Big Ben played the game. Big Ben was never a completion percentage freak. Big Ben wasn't really that, great in the pocket. He was not very good when it came to running. But I'll tell you what he did do. He'll make about 3 or 4 plays in a game that will win you the game. And that's how Ben Roethlisberger won games. He was never in the room with Rivers and Eli and with Peyton Manning or Eli Manning or them guys. He was never in the room. But Roethlisberger did win 2 Super Bowls. And he made big plays. Mike had to decide between having full autonomy of the offense, bringing his staff and Justin Herbert in L.A., or the meddlesome Eagles and can't run his own offense. Seems like a hard choice. I think it was an easy choice. I'm going to go to L.A. I'm going to be out there where my old lady's family is. The quarterback is sensational. The head coach has got complete autonomy over the whole thing. If I want a coach, Jim Harbaugh is going to get that coach for me. He doesn't have to go to a GM. You think the GM has more power over Jim Harbaugh? There's the difference between Jim Harbaugh and Nick Sirianni right there. Jim Harbaugh don't work for anybody. He answers to the owner. He wants something, he gets it. He wants somebody gone, they're gone. Jim Harbaugh runs that whole ship. Eagles want to win their way. It's worked for them. Yes, they just need to hire someone that buys in. How about this, Freddie? It's not that their way of thinking is wrong because they've won. I think their way of thinking is it stopped them from being a dynasty because they get in their own way. Dude, all these coordinators are telling you they don't want – the job's not a good job. Okay, let's go down here. 50-18, 2 NFC titles, Super Bowl. How come these guys are killing themselves lining up for the job? You would think that'd be the most coveted job in football. How come it's the worst job in football? Diane Rossini said that too, by the way. Explain that to me. Like I'm an elementary kid. Explain that. You're 50-18 in 4 years. You've got 2 NFC titles and a Super Bowl win. How come coordinators are turning it down and people like Diane Rossini and others are saying that the Eagle job is a horrible job? You can fill it in. I'd like to hear this. Eagles OC job is not a good job. I agree, but I want to know why you think it's not. You got all this winning. How's it not the top job in the business? Okay? She works for the ops. What's that mean? Seals, where does the ego come from, Lori or Howie? Both. My players, my team. My way of doing it. Howie's a product of Lori. Howie's ego is born through Lori. Full autonomy. Get this, the only guy in the building who's got full autonomy is Howie. Nick doesn't even have it. Here, watch this when you want to laugh a little. They don't want to get shit talked by you, Sills. That's why nobody wants to work here. Yeah. He's such a douche. Doesn't matter who the OC is. Sirianni's playbook. Bang. 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 Worst job because forced to run the prevent offensive scheme. If it looks like shit, then you are the scapegoat. Yes. Yes. Yeah, Lori is this. I make the hires. It's my system. It's my way of doing things. We're a franchise that wins my way. I'm the smartest guy on the captain's ship. Don't ever say that the yachtsman is not the smartest guy in the NFL, because the yachtsman, I mean, I'm like Aristotle Onassis. I'm the smartest guy on the planet. I got Jackie O. How you doing? Nobody knows what I'm talking about under the age of 40, but it's all good. You're going to land on Billy Bob, Jim Bob Cooter. You're going to have a guy named Cooter. Oh, my God. Hey, Sue, what's the offensive coordinator's name in Philly? His name is Cooter. Holy cow. It sounds perverted. Who's the offensive coordinator in Philly? Billy Bob Cooter. Billy Bob Cooch. You gotta be kidding me. Dangerous Cooter. That's the new OC in Philly. Billy Bob, Jimmy Bob Cooter. Green Eagles and Hurts playbook by Dr. Sirianni. Green eggs and ham. Anybody? Billy Bob Cooter. Shit, what's that gal's name? He's the OC over in Philly. Billy Bob Cooter. Billy Bob Cooter. That's the new guy. Hey, Sills, is Cooter gonna wear a yeah, I don't know. Big Dom may knock that off his head. Hey, that was a great call, Cooter. I think that works in Carolina. But in South Philly, can you see the guineas in South Philly going, hey, did you get a load of the new guy named who's the OC in Philly? It's some chick named Cooter. Billy Bob Coochie. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Is that going to go great? Holy shit. You never stop giving me content. Man. Billy Bob Coochie. That's who you're going to land on. Or Josh Grizzard, the greatness of Josh Grizzard. Yeah. Wow. Hey, you see that call by Cootie? Coochie or that was a cooter. That was a cooter play, man. Only Cooter could call that play. Gotta be kidding me. Jim Bob, Coach Stafford in Detroit. Respect Jim Bob, Billy Bob Cooter. Yeah, they won a ton of playoff games up there, didn't they? And Cooper from Dukes of Hazzard. I don't know. No, I'm not going nowhere near that. Hey, man. Hey, can you see Mike McDaniel? He does have a Gucci bag, you know. You ever see Mike McDaniel's Gucci bag? How do you think that'd roll in Philly? What's in that Gucci bag? Lipstick? Lip gloss? What is it? Like, the guy wears capris and has a Gucci bag. That was going to be your OC in Philly? Okay. Hey, can you see him showing up to Lincoln Financial? He's got a Gucci bag over his shoulder. He's wearing capris. Who's that guy? That guy belongs at the library downtown. This guy's my OC? You're kidding me, right? I wouldn't let this guy serve me a hoagie at Geno's. Oh, my God. Yeah. If the OC's Cooter, does that... Oh, my God. Jesus criminy. This thing's getting better and better every day. This is what you also have now. So now Bob Lang's got a lot of work to do. Whew, man. How do we dress up the OC job? How do you dress up the OC job? This is how you do it. We never, ever had any interest in any of these guys except the guy they hired. M. Reyes. Yeah, that's the only guy we had interest in. M. Reyes. That's it. You watch. The next guy they hire, we really didn't have, interviews with Brian Dable. Yeah, you did. Brian Dable said he had an interview. Nah, it was only more we invited him over for breakfast. AJ's been telling you this. I got to tweet that out. I got to tweet it out. AJ Brown. Eagles. AJ Brown has been telling you for almost a year, that the offense in Philly blows. And you won't listen. You call him a cancer. Nobody wants the OC job. Nobody wants the OC gig. Boom. Big sales. JAKIB. How you doing? End of story. Seals, do you think Bryce Young will be the best quarterback in the South in 26? I bet my chips on him. I'll tell you what. That dude in New Orleans might be pretty decent too. Did you see he beat out Cam Ward as the top rookie? I made the all-rookie team. He made the all-rookie team over the number 1 overall pick. The guy in New Orleans. And he didn't even start the entire year. They had Spencer Rattler down there starting. I think the kid's going to be – I think Bryce Young's getting better, though. Dable will end up the head coach of Buffalo Bills, and he'll bring A.J. Brown to the Bills. If Dable doesn't get that job, he's going to be the OC in Tennessee. Cancer? We talking Hurts? No. You're calling AJ a cancer. They're calling AJ a cancer. That's what they're. No. I didn't call Hurts a cancer. Jalen Hurts is not a cancer. That's not. He's not a bad apple in the room. No. As a matter of fact, I don't think you have any bad apples in the room. I don't think that's one of the cool things about the Eagles. They don't have any bad guys. I don't think in that room. There's nobody like, dude, that guy there, man. He's just, I didn't think Gardner Johnson was. I never thought CJ was. Can't blame last year's numbers. One can't name the Saints quarterback all bad. All I'm saying is the guy who made the all-rookie team. Front office lies. Nobody wants to come here because, and this is a jackass, Nick Sirianni, and will interfere with the offense, and this place has become toxic. That's not true. The Eagles are not toxic. Listen, here's your truth. Nothing's going to change. You think because you fired Kevin Patullo, there's some sort of change in the offensive approach? Change in direction of the team? Dude, you're talking one way outside the building. They don't think like this inside that building. They think they're injuries away from being in the NFC title game in Seattle. You're missing the whole thing. You think an OC is that important to them? Coaches are not important to Philadelphia. If they were important, you wouldn't have 7, 8 different coordinators in the last 6 years. Let's see this. Since 2020 for Jalen Hurts, Press Taylor, 21, Nick, then Shane, 22, Shane, 23, Johnson, 24, Moore, 25, KP, and then new dude in 2026. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You've had 7 offensive coordinators since 2021. You think they value coaches around here? Who in their right mind would take a job? They've had 7 coordinators in 6 years. You've had 7 coordinators in 6 years for this dude. You want to know why the guy doesn't have 4 quarters of consistent football? How could you have 4 quarters of consistent football when you don't have consistency in the hiring of your coordinator? Then Nick turns around and goes 50-18. So Hurts will be here the rest of his career as long as you're 50-18. And you keep winning and you keep being in the room. What are you expecting? Like, Jalen has no chance of ever evolving into what he might have been when you have that kind of constant change. How many years has Mahomes had, Andy? 10 straight? Stafford's had what now? McVay for 5 years? Let's see. I know Peyton Manning had Tom Moore for 12, 13 years. I mean, OC's like the right guard position on the Eagles in the O-line. Yeah, interchangeable. I don't think Barkley's washed up, but we're getting there to a point. I think Lane is retiring. Eagles have been reaching out to top right offensive tackles. Why would Lane want to come back? Maybe because he didn't want to end it that way. Could be. Still, the organization is not wrong in their approach, but it requires everything to be perfect. They have no margin for error. They have nobody on the offensive staff that can handle problems. Yeah, they don't have problem solvers. You got problem solvers on defense. Wow. So wait a minute. Let me get this right. You're losing Lane Johnson. Let's just say that. Goddard. AJ. N'Kobe. Blankenship. Jalen Phillips. And you're going to be better? Well, if I were the Eagles, I'd like to know what Lane's plans are before the draft to give me a heads up. Yes, I think Mike Evans has 2 years left, actually. He came back from injury on that shoulder. First game back, he had 128 yards receiving or something. I mean, I hope Lane retires. Without Lane, Hurts is 4th and 13. 28, 35% career win rate, just bad. Yeah, well, he is a loss. Hey, Fred's decent. Hey, Trotter. I thought Trotter looked decent, man, when he got in there in that Commander game. I did. I thought he looked pretty good. Shooting for wild card berth, and that one and done would be a successful season next year. Woo! Hang in there. That ship didn't go down yet. Dude, wait a minute. Guys, you don't think the hiring of an offensive coordinator is going to dictate whether or not you're good next year, do you? I never believed that. You're playing more into this hire. This is a joke hire. The least experience, the better. So Nick can put his fabulous 50-18 record in your face. He can. I think it's how he's rostered that wins, but there's people that believe that guy's a great coach. So let's run through the player list again and see which players have deferred void years. Losing those players is bad, but having real money on the books for them is worse. Yeah, well, you trade A.J. Brown, and you move that guy out of the building, and John's right. You could post-date it until June 1st, but you still got to carry that number until June 1st. And your salary, how much are you going to go over the cap? If you move AJ, you're going to be way over the cap. And by the time you get to June 1, you may have to cut people like Cam Jurgens. Just gave him a deal. You got to get money somewhere and cut it. You got hurt players on long deals that are young guys, like Landon and Cam. I bet Lane would come back if he had a better offense. This all boils down to Shady Nicky. A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown. Here, get this. The Raiders are seeking an offensive-minded head coach to pair with the number 1 overall pick, Fernando Mendoza. What does that mean? By the way, Mike McDaniel hasn't signed that contract yet in Los Angeles. Brian Dable hasn't either. Brian Dable to Los Angeles. with Fernando Mendoza as the head football coach of the Raiders versus being the OC in Philly. And having to play inside the sandbox of Nick. Nick's got this little tiny sandbox you got to play in. You know the one you get like at Target? You fill it up, you put the sand in, put it in your backyard. Remember like when we were kids, you had that little pool got the garden hose, you put the water in. It's kind of like a little sandbox you make in your backyard. A little tiny sandbox, not really a big sandbox. Because you don't want too big a sandbox because the yard cats, they come in and they take a crap in it and you got to dig out of it and it's no good, right? Nobody likes that. We had a sandbox in my backyard, believe it or not, at my grandma's house. We were back there always taking the crap out of there from the cats because the cats use it as a big sandbox. I mean, like, yeah, no good. So that's kind of like Nick's sandbox. That little tiny sandbox there. About that big. So if you're an offensive coordinator, you can take at least 50% of your playbook, put it in your back pocket. Or if you're Mike McDaniel, you could smoke it and vape it. Then you have 50%. Then old Nick's going to have control over your 50%. He goes, wait, whoa. We got to have 50% of my plays. So now you're down to what? 50% of that? Geez, I'm down to 25%. That's what Kellen Moore did. Kellen Moore ran 25% of his offense in the Super Bowl year. 25%. Think of that shit, a coach choosing the fucking Raiders or Titans over the Eagles. Two dumpster fire teams and organization. Says a lot about the Eagles. Says a lot of you guys dude, you win a lot. You leave championships on the table. You leave championships on the table. Lane won't retire until after the draft. Why? I mean, if you're going to retire before the draft. Tell the Eagles what you're doing. Let them go get an OT. It'll give the Eagles needs away to other teams. Wait a minute. You can't do anything about where you are in the draft. You're 23rd. The draft board's going to fall the way it is. And nobody's giving up offensive linemen in trades. What do you think? You're going to call up like a great team and go, hey, you're all pro? Like the kid Lindstrom in Atlanta. What do you think? You're going to call the Atlanta Falcons up and go, hey, Lindstrom, I'll give you a fifth rounder for him. Then look at you and go, what? I'm not trading that guy. They would rather trade Bijan Robinson than a quality O-line. You don't trade O-linemen. The only way you get rid of O-linemen is because of money and age. That's it. I would do that. I would do that. It's kind of money related on both ends, restructuring of both deals before you deal both of them. Max Crosby and A.J. Brown, I think they're the same dude. I think that's level of talent the same, that's equal. I think Crosby's 28. A.J.'s 28. I would do that. Same money. I think Crosby's 28. A.J.'s 31, 32. I think they're the same dudes. You'd be switching contracts. And by the way, you're going to win football games next year on defense more than you are in your offense. Big Sills, in your heart of hearts, what OC do you think we get? What OC do you think we get? Everyone's being insulted by the fact that the Eagles Fans can't believe it. Zach Robinson, is not a bad name. I mentioned him last year. Xander has been bringing Bobby Slowick. Sure. Here. Might be someone to think about. I think Josh Grizzard. I think all these guys here. I think any one of these guys. There's not one guy that's head and heels above the other guy. I think Weiss, because of the college stuff, it'd probably be under the radar. But Zach Robinson, Jim Bob Cooter, Bobby Slowick, Mike Kafka, Josh Grizzard. Bro, these are guys that you're going to hire. These guys here, guys like that. And what you're going to have basically is you're going to have a better version of Kevin Patullo. Hey, and how you know that? I saw a report where Kevin Patullo goes, I'm looking forward to working with the new OC and expanding on what we did last year. You're not changing anything. Have conviction? I don't think it matters. I told you it was a shit fire. And it's a non-factor fire. When you fired, you didn't hear me, Leon. When I said when you fired Kevin Patullo, it's really not going to matter. I mean, it's an irrelevant fire. This is an irrelevant hire. Greg Roman? Probably. He just got fired in Los Angeles for the guy you wanted. Mike McDaniel. So you're going to take the guy that the Chargers fired so that they can make room for the guy you wanted. Yeah, but what's his name? Bob Lang. He'll spin that. Biggest thing is health in the O-line. There you go. Fixing the run game and improving the pass game. Wait, improving the pass game? Pass game is what it is. You're going to be you're not going to be any better next year in the pass game. You might be worse. What are you, 25th? 2 years in a row? Let me ask you this. 34 games. Your average placing in the passing game is 25. You're going to get better all of a sudden? Based off of what? Based on what? Rumor says that Marion Hurts will be an OC candidate. I don't know, Sills. What the F, man? Hurts got us looking like a charity case. I don't think it's just him, dude. I don't think it's just him. I don't. Boy, I've never seen I've never seen more of a situation. So here, executives are now saying that the Ravens are going to hire Jesse Minter as the new head football coach of the Baltimore Ravens. Minter was with Harbaugh in Los Angeles, and he was with him up in Ann Arbor. And I think Jesse Minter is a great hire for Baltimore. Why? That you get to bring Brian Daboll in as the OC for Lamar Jackson. If he doesn't get the job, that's a perfect job for a guy like Daboll. Why? Minter will handle the defense. Daboll can handle the offense. That's why Daboll will look at that Tennessee job more than the Eagles and go, Salah's going to handle the defense. I'll handle the offense. When you've got places like Tampa Bay and Philly, you got coaches like Bowles and you got Nick. You think you're going to roll in there and go, hey, I want a new O-line coach. Yeah, no. That ain't happening. You go in with Robert Saleh, he needs quality OCs. What do you need? I need a new OC. I need a new offensive line coach, pass game coordinator. They just blew out the entire staff in Tennessee. Well, how come the Eagle OC job is not? a coveted job because there's too many guardrails. It's not really an OC job. It's a yes man's job. Yes, sir. Hey, we're going to run the run game. Yes, sir. Hey, we're going to run the screen pass jet sweep with Goddard. Yes, sir. Hey, but I want to run my plays. Well, that's how you get to the Howie Roseman broom closet. Just ask KP. KP's got a new desk in there. I heard it's this big, too. Big Z, we're going to bring Xander. I heard his little desk. You remember when you were in, like, little bitty school? And you had the one things that opened up. You had shit inside there. You went in there, got your protractor and your crayons out. Then you put the flap top down. He's got, like, his name used to be on a big office. Now it's on a little office. It's kind of like a broom closet. It's right next to, of course, Howie and Nick's place. And there he is right in the middle there. It's kind of like the old, like, janitor's closet. That's what Kevin Patullo is. That's he'll get taken out of there again, though. 2 years from now, he'll be ready to be the new OC. Lessons learned. All right. Without further ado, I can't wait for this. By the way, also, Battle Royale will happen at 4:30. We bring in our friend, Big Z, Xander Krause. He joins us now. How you doing, bro?
What's up, Sills? How you doing, brother?
Oh.
We got a little news.
Tell me.
Well, if you wanted to say something, go ahead.
Oh, no. I'm here.
I mean, it's not big news. It's not like the Eagles have landed on some superstar candidate. Matt Nagy is in for an interview, and the Eagles have interviewed Matt Nagy.
I'll say it. Matt Nagy.
Yeah, Matt Nagy. I'll tell you what. I think Matt Nagy's been a little bit unfairly criticized. Guy spent a lot of time with Andy Reid. Guy spent a lot of time with Patrick Mahomes. Guy took Mitch Trubisky to the playoffs in Chicago. I get it. It wasn't all perfect, but Matt Nagy is coming to Philly. No, I'm just kidding. We'll see. We'll see.
Is he really?
We will see.
Is he really coming in for an interview?
Yeah, they interviewed him. It's already, they reported it. He interviewed. Here's Garofalo. The Eagles interviewed Matt Nagy for their offensive coordinator job today, sources say. Nagy, an intern and assistant for Andy Reid in Philly from 2008 to 2012, is exploring a few OC options. There's the boy, Matt Nagy.
And
Matt Nagy.
Next, Matt Nagy. Next to Josh Grisard, Zach Robinson.
Well, we're really looking for the most premium tires we can get on this beaten down Corolla, aren't we?
No, what you're looking for is a guy that's just going to look. Yes, Nick. Yes, Nick.
I don't think that's Matt Nagy.
No?
He did that for Andy, but I don't know if he's going to look at Nick the same way he looked at Andy.
Okay. Matt Nagy. You know what? At the end of the day, it really doesn't matter.
No, we got to look. You know what really needs to be taught. What needs to be said about this? You have Brian Daboll having his agent, because that's how the information flows. For those who don't know, having his agent put out messages before he even interviews in Buffalo. He didn't even interview there yet. He might be there today. He put out a message, or the reporters put out a message. Matt or Brian Daboll met with the Eagles, and they fully understand that he wants to get the Bills head coaching job. And if he doesn't get the Bills head coaching job, then he wants to go and be the coordinator in Tennessee.
Correct.
So this guy said, "You're my third option." Brian Daboll, he hit us with, "You're my third option at best." And you're right. Maybe we're his fourth option if they want him in Baltimore. I mean, dude, we're getting
Bob Lamont. By the way, Bob Lamont put that out, his agent.
We're getting bitch slapped.
Why is that, Z?
Because this offense is, I don't know. I
No.
I think I know, but
I want you to dive deeper, my friend. Okay, I mean, why would this not be? Wait a minute. Here, let me read it again. 50-18, 2 Super Bowls in 4 years, a Super Bowl win. Why isn't this a coveted job? Gee, why is
Well,
that?
I think I do think, like most things in football and life, I mean, I'll ask you to go through your own life. There's multiple variables, right? If you have another opportunity in life, anyone, you get another job or whatever, you weigh out the pros and the cons. There's always going to be pros and cons. And I think you look at this Eagles job and the cons are just too big. The pros are the potential for a boom where you could go and get a head coaching job. The cons are an offensive personnel where you don't know what the offensive line is going to be. You don't know where A.J. Brown's going to go. You don't know what style of quarterback you're going to play with. I mean, does Jalen Hurts want to run? Is he done running? Is he RPO? An owner and a GM and a head coach where the power structure is a little bit gray, to say the least. It's a muddy area. I don't think anybody really knows. A head coach who doesn't want anybody to call their own offense. The inability to bring in any of your own staff. Now, the biggest advantage is you got a GM who's going to load you with talent, and keep reloading that talent to the best of his abilities, and with mostly an unlimited
The GM intrigues me.
Yeah, and the way the owner spends the money. But I mean, you look at all the negatives. I mean, hey, there's some pros, but you weigh out your pros and cons in life, and the cons are big, really big.
The only thing that intrigued me about taking that job is the owner. What you say, owner and the GM. Other than that,
the owner's also proven to be a little bit reactive, and anybody who has wants the profession is.
You mean the 7 coordinators in 6 years?
Exactly. Now they've had enough success for the owner to say, "Fuck you, Xander. I don't give a shit what you say about my reactivity." But
to your point, that's why they don't want the job.
Exactly. When you're considering the job, it comes into it.
Xander, winning has nothing to do with what these guys want. Do you see that? This is about having a chance to succeed for them as coordinators. And in their eyes, they don't see a chance or the too many pitfalls for a chance of success in Philly versus going to a place. Here's why you take the Harbaugh job. Jim's got complete autonomy in what he wants to do. And let's be Let's be candid. Hurts, Herbert. Really? Not a debate.
That's not even a question. But I mean, yeah, you know who the head of the snake is. Here you really don't know. Like the owner is. But certain people, I would assume, think Howie is, because Howie's done such a good job and he's kind of the guy who's been here for 3 different coaches. I mean, Howie's never gets fired. So some people could look at it like Howie is, and Nick tries to make it seem, like when they put out the statement about Patullo getting fired from the desk of Nick Sirianni. Oh yeah, okay, right. Nick Sirianni, from the desk of Nick Sirianni. So I don't know, man. This is becoming. Sometimes I said to you before the show today, sometimes you gotta laugh through the pain. This is becoming we're becoming a little bit of a joke here with this search. And what I wonder, let me ask you this. All this to be said, speaking of the owner, is he looking at this like, nobody wants to come here?
Why?
And by the way, the owner's not going to blame himself. As much as John wants to blame the owner's not going to blame himself. You got to wonder,
owners had too much success.
Could we have a surprise couple weeks later, Nick Sirianni firing?
For Mike Tomlin?
A couple weeks go by, nobody wants to be the OC, and they're like, Nick, you're out of here.
For Mike Tomlin?
Yeah, Mike Tomlin's not going to come in here and be a lackey to the owner and the GM. He's not.
Do you believe that this is kind of a reality slap to Eagle fans?
No.
That they don't realize. No. I think Eagle fans think this is the number one job in the NFL, to come in here and be the OC. Little do they realize it's one of the worst jobs that you could have, coming in and being the OC. They don't see it that way. I think it's an indictment on everything they do. And this also tells me what I always say about you guys. I think you guys win a lot of games. I think you'll have 2 Super Bowls on the table. I think you've left 2 Super Bowls on the table.
Well, I mean, I don't know.
The way you do business. Wait, nobody wants the job? Nobody wants to work in Philly Oh, big bad Philly fan?
Okay, can I just be blunt for a second? Can I just be on? Can we all maybe in Eagle land? All right, just like we're all going to turn on a switch for a second. So you, when you're listening, I'm talking to you, not you, Dan. You listening? Turn it off for a second. All right, let's just be honest. On. I don't think an offensive coordinator wants to come here because this style of offense is fucking putrid, and I don't think anybody believes that they can play anything different with this quarterback.
Correct. Yes. 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 Yes.
Okay, you can turn it off, everybody. You can turn it. You can turn back on your green Eagle. It's the owner. It's the GM. It's Nick Sirianni. All right, it's a bunch of shit.
Well, because I have to listen to this. I just learned how to use earbuds, so I still don't know how to put them in. So putting earplugs in is something very new for me too. So having those plugs now, I couldn't put those in, but I did shut it off for a second. You're dead on right.
Yeah,
you're dead right, dude. What happened, man? How come your job's not enticing for anybody? Why doesn't anybody?
I say that. I also don't necessarily. I'm not necessarily proclaiming that. I'm saying that I think that's the perception. Like Mike McDaniel, for example, looked and was like, I'm not running. I don't want to run that offense, and I don't think they can run my offense. Now, he might not be right. Maybe Jalen would be a little bit better. Here's what I have a hard time believing. I have a hard time believing that you can't get a little bit more out of Jalen Hurts. Okay, I've seen too much good from him. And now it's not all perfect, but I've seen too much to say there's nothing left to get out of Jalen. But when you're talking about hiring coordinators, specifically coordinators with pedigree and options, they're just gonna choose another option.
I'd rather have the Titans job. You got a guy saying I'd rather have the Titans.
That blew my mind. You'd rather have all right. You want to take Baltimore. You want to take or you want to take Justin Herbert. Okay, you know what? I can understand. You're going to you had your agent put it out ahead of time that the Titans are your number 2 option. Like, dude, I saw that. Like, all right, this is ridiculous.
That place fired Mike Vrabel, and he'd rather go there.
What happened to the Eagles? People would rather work in Tennessee? The Titans. We're talking about the Titans.
For a coach who just got fired in New York.
Yeah, right.
He just got fired in New York. The Eagle job's not for me.
Dude, I don't fucking know, man. What is going on with this? This is becoming a joke, isn't it?
Yeah. Do you think it's an indictment on the coach and the quarterback?
Yeah, I mean, a little bit. You think people aren't taking the job because Howie?
No, I think the job because of Howie.
I think John is onto something with the owner. I think he's reactive. I mean, look, people have to realize that you have offensive football and football talk, and then you have like real life. You know, real life is a thing. All right, these guys have families, wives, kids, things that they have to do, schools, taxes. All of those things that you deal with. So those are a part of the equation as well. And then you have an owner who, if you make it to the playoffs and you go 11-7, you're bounced,
So Mike McDaniel took the higher taxes in Los Angeles and the shitty owner and Dean Spanos over Jeffrey Lurie. That's what John's saying.
Now the excuse has come that his wife was from there, so he doesn't wear the pants, and his wife decided to choose where to live.
So you think he chose the LA Chargers because of his old lady instead
of if my old lady, I know she's not old, but if I could call her that for the sake of the convo, if she told me where to live, I'd give her a chuckle and say, "Hi, good one, honey," and we're gonna be over here. I mean, he went to California because his wife wanted to move to California. This is a guy's profession. It's his career. Yeah. It's his livelihood.
Yeah.
That's not how, I don't know. Maybe that's how some people work.
No way. You take the best opportunity for your family.
Yeah. I mean, so I don't know.
Take it L.A. and
who freaking knows? Who freaking knows, man? Brian, I literally couldn't stop laughing, though, when I saw the text. Again, the other stuff, all right, it's fine. McDaniel wants to go coach Herbert, whatever. Brian Daboll wants to go coach Cam Ward in Tennessee.
He'd rather.
He'd rather than the Eagles. Oh, my Lord. Yeah, you're going to get a bunch of guys who are about to be out of the league if they don't take the job.
Yeah. It's, you know what? I would say
Like Jim Bob Cooter.
Yeah, you're going to get Billy Bob Cooch that's going to come in here and coach.
You know what Jim Bob Cooter reminds me of?
Please.
You ever seen the movie Varsity Blues?
Yes.
Yeah, he reminds me of that name, Billy Bob Thornton. I think the name.
Oh,
is
my God. I like that Varsity Blues. That's the one with Jack, right?
That's a classic football movie.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey. So where do you go from here now?
Hire somebody. I mean, I don't know. Where do you think they should go?
I think they should hire somebody that makes it a seamless transition for Nick to be able to run his offense, and you can run 25% of your offense like Kellen Moore.
Yeah, so you're going to
take a guy who's been fired a couple times here. Greg Roman would be somebody I think would be a good hire. I think Greg
Roman hire. Why have we not heard they interviewed him?
Yeah,
because he's not going to come in here and be a stooge.
See, to me, though, I think Greg Roman makes more sense than anybody because Greg's got success. And Greg coached Lamar Jackson. And Greg Roman's good. I mean, he would listen to Nick. He's not going to bring anybody in. And he could come in and work with them. I mean, hey, Greg Roman, Josh Grizzard, those are your – hey, Xander, you know, sometimes when you walk into a place, you look at the you look up high and you go, man, look at that Rolex. Holy cow, that Submariner, man, that mother – I've owned 3 of them, man. Those things are one of the greatest watches of all time. No, Mr. Sileo, here's your budget. Oh, where am I looking? Down here with the Citizens. You're down here with the – wait a minute, I'm not even a tag? No. Tag's a little too more. How about a Raymond Weil? Mr. Sileo, Raymond Weil, that's about $2,500. What do you mean? Cartier's out? Whoa, way out of your league. You're down with the Citizens in the Seikos.
Are you saying that's what the Eagles' offense is? I think I don't think the team is that. I think the offense is that.
No. You got.
I'd like Greg Roman.
Rolex talent.
I'd like Greg Roman because at the very least, he's got the experience to have been through, some of the things. That I think you need at the least right now. So we'll see.
I think Greg Roman. I think he makes a lot of sense, man. I do. I mean, when I heard that name pop up. And, the guy, who's the guy they interviewed today?
Matt Nagy.
All right, Matt Nagy. Why? Because he worked with Andy?
Dude, he's got some Super Bowls on the shelf, Matt Nagy.
Okay. So here's Greg Roman. Greg Roman worked with offensive line assistant with the Ravens back in the day. San Francisco 49ers offensive coordinator. He went to a Super Bowl. He's the OC in Buffalo in 25 and 15 and 16. He was the assistant head coach and tight ends coach in 18. He was the offensive coordinator from 19 to 22. In Baltimore, got an MVP with Lamar Jackson. In his last 2 years, Harbaugh hired him to be the offensive coordinator with the Chargers. So, I mean, yeah. I mean, he's done some good things, man. I mean, yeah. So I don't know.
The offense that we watched with our own 2 eyes this year, that many fans have chosen to act like they did it, like they saw something different, is as bad as we thought. And in fact, it appears the structure and the foundation is as bad or worse than we thought in that offense.
Do you think what happened to Kellen Moore and how Kellen Moore had to call plays has affected these guys potentially on wanting to be hired, on how he had to run his playbook, and how they don't want to do that?
It's actually a good topic because some would look at Kellen and think it's a positive because he went and got a head coaching job. But, offensive guys they look at that, but they know what Kellen is. Offensive guys in the league know other offensive guys. It's a clique. They're all talk. They all know each other. They all know each other's playbook. They all know what each other runs. They're buddies. This guy likes this guy. This guy talks to this guy. So they all know what Kellen wants to run, and the evidence around Kellen. I mean, the year prior and even the year after, where he went with Tyler Shuck, a rookie quarterback, he didn't want to play that way. So it's like So the only way Kellen had success was to basically shelf his offense, which is a pretty good offense. I think most offensive coordinators in the league would agree with that. They had to shelf it and have a historic running game. So that's my way to an NFL or to a head coaching job or a promotion, is hope that we get the best the historic running game again. After seeing the offensive line, the worst they've looked since 2020, when 2020 they were destroyed with injuries.
I can't believe that Brian Dable's agent, Bob Lamont, put out there, I'd rather have the Titans.
I couldn't believe it. I had to read it twice. I'm like, wait a second. All right, if you tell me you want to take the Bills job, yeah, it makes sense. The Titans? The Titans should be getting our leftovers.
Yeah.
We're getting Titan leftovers.
And Kevin Patullo should get that job.
Can you believe it? We're getting Titans leftovers.
Yeah. Here, what do you make of this little nugget? LeSean McCoy says that he heard from sources that inside the team that the reason they've been running basic offense is because Jalen Hurts can't do the more exotic stuff. I did a lot of deep diving. I don't want to throw them under the bus, but I know some people inside the organization that say the problem is that we don't do different exotic looks and different formations, different motions, because I'm hearing that Jalen Hurts really can't do it, and the coaches know it. That's Shady McCoy saying that. Yeah, not Big Sills.
Sounds like he's talking to the same people that Johnny Mac's talking to. John McMullen said that 9 months ago. Everybody ripped him. Everybody said he's a Jalen this. Oh, he's a hater. He's wrong. He's an MVP candidate, Super Bowl winner. I don't think he's wrong. I don't know. I don't have the information to know whether he's right or wrong. I don't. I'm not going to sit up here and act like I do. But I can see where he's talking. I mean, if you hear that and then look at the supporting evidence without knowing whether it's true or not, it's pretty easy to make a case that it's true. So
I've been consistent for 5 years on it.
Yes, you have. Even when they won the Super Bowl. Guys, a caboose.
How about this one here? You help me out on this one here, Z. Has the A.J. Brown situation got to the point of no return?
I think it's because of him. I just don't think he wants to play here anymore. I can't really blame him.
Okay. Well, no, wait a minute. Okay, all that could be true, but do you think it's got to the point of no return for the organization?
Yeah, because it's because of him, though. Not because like Howie's like, I'm tired of the shit, or Jeffrey even. I think it's because AJ's like, look, I'm done here, guys. Please trade me. And when it becomes that situation, then it is it tenable? It becomes a little untenable for both sides. So I think it's over, but we will see. I don't think you're going to become a better football team without him. But I will say that there's a little bit of a trend emerging here. John said that there was no way Kellen Moore was coming back to the Eagles this year. No way. He said when Nick Sirianni was on the parade float saying, run it back, Kellen, or whatever, that night when they won, remember up on the mantle with the trophy, let's run it back, Kellen. John was like, yeah, there was zero chance. He wanted nothing to do with running it back in Philly. Then you have A.J. Brown, who now wants nothing to do with the Eagles offense, lost interest, disinterested, dropping balls because he doesn't like it here. Now you have Mike McDaniel, who gave you the courtesy of a Zoom call for about 8 minutes. He's like, I'll fly to everywhere, but I'm not going to fly to Philly. Brian Dable, who's cucked us to the Titans, all right, to the freaking Titans. I don't know, dude. This trend is getting bigger.
Hey, wait. This is where I'm going here, though. Well, AJ, doesn't this make you change your way of thinking if you're Jeffrey Lurie and Howie? He wasn't wrong all year. You know why? Those coordinators' actions are showing the league, people, even the Eagles, with maybe some self-reflection going, wait a minute, all the shit that AJ said during the year,
right?
Coordinators are telling you that now, and the lack of wanting to have interest in the job.
Right.
So wait a minute. I'm going to crucify the guy who was right? I mean, I need to make that better because dude, nobody wants your job. Nobody wants the gig.
I don't know. I mean, we are in a weird spot with it. There's no doubt about it. So I don't know. You want to put it on Hurts, you want to put it on Patullo, whatever, whoever you want to put it on. I really don't care because none of us really know. We all have an opinion. My opinion, it's more on Hurts than people think, but it's also on
Nick.
I still don't know about Nick. I will hold that position all summer. I'm inconclusive on Nick. If Jalen Hurts has the limitations that you say he has, let's just use the Big Seals framework. If Jalen Hurts has the limitations that you say he has, if it's true, how has Nick won as much as he has?
How he's great talent. They win in spite of it.
So they win.
They don't win. They don't win because
that's where I have a trouble going to.
Okay, well here you saw it play out in the wild card game. What are you talking about?
Is there an example in NFL?
A more experienced offensive coach and a experienced defensive coach working together with limited talent beat an A+ roster. You had the A+ roster.
Yeah, I'm not saying
and they outcoached you to a win.
All right, I'm not saying that Nick is this great coach. I'm just wondering if you take the premise that you stated that Jalen is as limited as he is, isn't it somewhat impressive to win that much with that quarterback then?
Okay. Yeah, it is. I think that guy does a great job of this, knowing that the quarterback can't do certain things and allowing his talent to win ball games because, dude, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert, Saquon Barkley, and your offensive line. It's an A+ roster with C students and with C coaches. Look at your defense. Your defense has A coaches and a B roster. They make that B roster look like A students. Your C student, the coaches, make your roster look like a C student offense. Tell me you don't think that team produced like a C offense this year.
C?
Okay.
Yeah, I think C is a C-.
Aren't coaches supposed to have answers? Don't you have answers for problems? Kyle Shanahan did.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, look, watch this. Do you think that Sean Payton's going to have some type of answer at least for the Patriots in that AFC Championship game? I'll guarantee you this. I think the Patriots win that game, but I guarantee you the Broncos are going to put up a fight in that ball game.
I agree with you.
That's coaching.
Yeah, that's fair. So we got so does everybody want to just like all take the black pill right now that, all right, we're fucked. No. Coach sucks. Quarterback sucks. Nobody wants to coach here. No. I mean, we go to the playoffs every year.
No, it's the same thing. Whoa. Firing Kevin Patullo, I told you it was a non-important fire. I don't know what everyone's assuming that. I mean, it really didn't matter if you fired him or not. It might have been in the best interest to keep his ass. I mean, now you're going to get Billy Bob, Jim Bob Cooter. That's going to be the new Billy Bob Cooter at hey, I'd like to have a hoagie at Gino's. What's your name? Yeah, my name is the new OC with the Eagles. Billy Bob Cooch. Yeah, I'm the new OC. Jesus Christ.
How big is our window? Is our window still open?
Yeah. You know why? Nothing's changing. Now, wait, I got a question on this AJ thing now. You say it's on the okay. So how are you going to do free agent movement and sign Jalen Phillips if you're gonna whack AJ off that team? You got to carry that number until June 1. How are you signing Jalen Phillips? Oh,
I don't think they're going to sign Jalen Phillips.
I don't either now.
Yeah, I don't either.
You think
I would like them to, but I don't think they're going to.
You think they punt on Carter, moving his ass down the line too in that fifth-year option?
I don't know. I'm not sold on that yet.
Okay.
The Eagles have they will pay a guy they believe in, even if it's against odds for him to, or not guaranteed or it's not as obvious that he's going to be great. Like, I think they think Jalen Carter is going to be a great defensive tackle for the next decade. They're not going to wait a year, because of an injury in the now and let the price tag go up to 40. That's not how they do business. That's not how they built this great roster. They get ahead of stuff. Now, I hear what you're saying. I don't think he's earned the type of contract that he's probably looking for yet. I don't think he's proven it yet. But if they want him long term, my guess would be that they'll pay him. But I do understand. I would wait, but that's not really the way the Eagles operate.
Well, so Goddard, AJ, Reed Blankenship, Jalen Phillips, no Jan Dotson, no Lane.
I'm thinking they're going to pay Reed. I'll tell you why if you want to hear
no Lane and no N'Kobe. How's that season? Wait, okay. No Goddard, no AJ, Reed, Jalen Phillips, Dotson, Lane, and N'Kobe.
Well, they're going to pay somebody. They're not going to let everybody walk.
Okay.
Maybe who knows? I think they're going to pay Reed.
They're not paying Goddard, dude.
I think they're going to pay Reed for this reason. The offense is too unstable.
Pay him what?
$9 million.
That guy looks like a $9 million safety deal.
Yeah, dude, $9 million.
Oof.
Dude, Adoree Jackson.
Now, he did get back. He did come on with the last month. I thought he did.
I think Adoree Jackson made $4 or $5 million. Like, come on, $9 million? That's not a lot of money for an NFL guy. It's a lot of money for us.
Wait a second here. Wait a minute. But will Reed's new agency take 9?
All right. Everybody's going to jump right to the performance, which I see already Zeal doing. You got to look at the way the team is constructed right now. The offense is underwhelming. Okay. The defense is their saving grace and the way that they win football games. So you're going to take Vic Fangio's number one communicator in the secondary, one of the better secondaries in football, and replace him with who? For how much cheaper?
Kevin Byard. I'm kidding.
30-something-year-old Kevin Byard.
I'm kidding.
I'm just saying. I'm not sitting up here telling you Reed Blankenship is the greatest player in the world. I'm saying
he made the Pro Bowl.
Because the defense has become so important to the success, I think they're going to tread lightly on removing the number one guy who's vocal on the field. By the way, remember, N'Kobe's going to be done soon too. He's done now. So you got Vic's number one linebacker communicator in N'Kobe Dean gone. And now the number one communicator in the secondary gone. With the questions at offense. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It might be worth it to just keep some stability there. Because look, he's not a liability.
No, you're good. No, he's not a liability.
Yeah, I mean, he's not great, but he's not the reason you lose games.
No.
I mean.
Okay, I got a question here for you about Hurts. So if you're Nicole Lynn in Clutch Sports and you're watching what's going on in Philadelphia, and there's a kind of a narrative starting to build that nobody wants to work with Jalen Hurts.
What's the national media say? Are they saying that? I've been busy. I haven't followed.
Yeah, they don't want it's Hurts.
Is that what, like, if you turn on first take?
Yeah, it's they
don't think they're not saying it's Nick. I can see them saying it's Nick.
In South Florida, they're saying Mike McDaniel chose working with Herbert more than they did with Hurts.
And Baker.
Correct. And Baker. Okay? So, if you're Clutch Sports and you're watching this, and narratives matter in the league, they matter to your Philadelphia Eagles, don't they? Your owner is always looking at the narrative if it's negative against your team. Correct? I mean, if you're Jalen Hurts, you can't be happy with what you're seeing. Billy Bob Joe Thornton is going to come in and be your next OC.
Oh, remember, this is the same agent who, publicly boasts, which is fine. It's her job. I think she's a good agent. But, she remember when Hurts had the big game or something and she tweeted out, get out the Brinks truck or something like that. Like,
it was a Super Bowl, I thought.
Was it when they lost?
When they lost. Or maybe it was I forget. It was some gigantic game that he played, and he had a great game.
See, I completely agree with Charlie Swift here. The optics of this whole thing are
terrible.
Terrible.
Head coach looks like shit. Quarterback, even the owner. The whole thing. Bob's going to need that. Bob Lang is going to need like a nuclear suit that you would go into a nuclear power plant.
Dude, he might get fired if he doesn't get under control.
Oh, you could get your ass canned over this.
Yeah.
Because this is.
And by the way, for anybody who doesn't know the inner workings of this team, if you want to see Jeffrey Lurie make decisions quick, tell him that the optics and the image of him and the organization are bad. I'm telling you right now, he hates that. Hates it. He cares maybe more about what the optics of the organization are than anything.
Okay, I'm going to ask you a loaded question. So
I think that's part of the reason, he loves the checkbook out, because look, everybody says, oh, you listen to John or any reporter talk about the way the Eagles give contracts. That's because the owner. That's because the owner. That's because the owner. He loves that.
Let me ask you this. And by the way, I'm asking him a loaded question. So, but here, if you were on the outside looking in, do you think this is more an indictment on Hurts or Sirianni that no OC wants to work inside the organization? Pick one or the other.
I can't pick them all. I mean, it's both. It's multiple.
No,
but
one or the
if
other.
you let me go one, let's turn back on those glasses. Boop, boop, beep, boop. It's Jalen Hurts, in my opinion. Remember, I lived this shit at Alabama. Same fucking thing. Great team, won a bunch of games, 26-2. When they needed to win it all, they benched them because they couldn't move the ball. Why can't you beat the Niners? Can't move the ball. Why couldn't you beat, why do you lose to teams in the year? Why do you put up 13 points versus the Bills? Can't move the fucking ball consistently. It's the same exact thing. It's almost eerie how similar it is.
Wait, let me. What year was he the starting quarterback at Alabama?
I think 16 and 17. 18 was when he was on the bench. 19 is when he played in Oklahoma, if I'm not mistaken.
Alabama. Let me see something.
Dude, I'm telling you right now, it was to a T. It was the same conversation. People were literally like, he's 26-2.
He was.
Can't argue with that.
He was the SEC Player of the Year.
His rookie year, he was offensive rookie of the year. Yeah, offensive player.
So let me see the starting lineup that you guys.
Freshman, not rookie.
Here's a 2016 starting lineup here for the Philadelphia Eagles, or excuse me, for the Alabama Crimson Tide. So you had. Are you sure it was 16?
No, it might have been 17 then.
17, because that was a different team. 17, okay.
16
17.
was who? Who was the QB in 16?
Coker?
Was that Jay Coker, yeah.
Okay, 17. Okay. Say 17. Here we go. All right, 2017.
Nah, it's 16 on my end.
All right, read me the offensive personnel that you had on that team.
Where's the QB?
Here you go.
No, you're right. It's Coker. It was the, you know how the season goes.
Yeah.
It's the 2017 roster.
2017. Okay, here you go.
2017 roster.
Jalen Hurts was the quarterback. Tagovailoa was the backup. He was a freshman. So look at this. So you had Najee Harris at running back. You had Josh Jacobs as his backup. You had Calvin Ridley, and you had Henry Ruggs as your wideout. And your other wideout was Devontae Smith, and your other wideout was Jerry Jeudy. I mean, your tight end was Irv Smith, who was
2016 though, he was the freshman. But yeah, you're right. It was a crazy roster, dude. Insane roster. Insane roster.
Kind of like an insane roster in Philly.
I just told you it's a similar feeling. And he was 26-2. He's a winner. That's what everybody said.
Yeah, and well, when
Nick Saban said, unlike the Eagles, Nick Saban said, "The hell with what everybody else says. I'm gonna go win my team a ball game."
And that's why they put two in.
The Eagles organization are in love with the optics and caring what everybody thinks of them.
So Nick wanted to upgrade the quarterback position. He put two in.
You're going to make me the number one target in Philly.
Oh, good. Hey, wait. Isn't it funny? It is. It's completely. If you looked at his scouting report, you looked at his time in Alabama, the only difference is that the Eagles don't have a number one draft choice at quarterback to put in place for him. They got a 7th rounder. Do you think if they had a first-round pick behind Jalen Hurts, they would have replaced him by now? If Drake May was second, if they drafted Drake May.
Well, if they drafted Drake May, then you have already known why they drafted Drake May.
Okay, so if you draft a quarterback, why don't you make competition for the guy?
Well, here's a better question. If they wanted the quarterback, why didn't they draft one at 10 overall when they took Devontae Smith? Why didn't they draft one at 9 overall when they took Jalen Carter? Why didn't they draft one at 31 overall when they drafted Nolan Smith? Why didn't they draft one at 15 overall when they took Jordan Davis?
Because they'd rather have the roster than the quarterback being elite. I'd rather have an elite roster than an elite quarterback because I can win with an elite roster and I can win with a really good quarterback. Hurts is a really good quarterback. He's just not an elite dude. I'll take the elite roster every day, wouldn't you? Elite rosters win. Elite quarterbacks, that's in Buffalo, right? The Eagles don't want to be the Buffalo Bills.
Yep.
They want to be what they're doing. They'd rather have a guy that's good. By the way, I'm not telling you he's not. Holy cow. I can't wait to see how this owner and everything plays this thing out. I can't. All right, let's get to some of these super chats here, man.
Yeah. All right, let's do it.
Hey, by the way, we got Battle Royale coming up too. Oh my God. Hey, do you think that what's his name? Mark Holmes comes off the top rope that nobody wants to, Dallas they don't have a tough time hiring people.
Well, I don't know if he can come off the top rope. I mean, his team's it's not like he's speaking from a position of power.
Wait a second. Wait. This ain't about winning, though. This is about somebody want to work in a work environment.
Yeah, all right. So you have people that want to work in a work environment and you don't need
to that's what this No. Wait. Winning is not clouding the hiring here.
Yeah, but anybody who I think watches Eagles like with an eye toward what the truth is wouldn't have this hard of a time understanding why it's a hard offense to coach. I mean, it's not, I think some people think it's a magic fix. Get a coordinator and all of a sudden, boop, 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 you got the greatest offense in the world. It's not, that's not the
Eagles don't think there needs to be a fix.
Maybe not. Mark might come off the top rope.
Do you think wait a minute, do you think the Eagles need a fix or do you think it's health?
I think the Eagles need the offensive line to get better because Jalen has proven to me that but when he does have shit around him, he makes the plays he needs to make.
Yes.
The problem is when things aren't great, or you need the quarterback, who most teams do, even no matter how good your roster is, when you need the quarterback to really elevate you and win you a football game. Does he do that? Here and there, yes. Is it consistent enough to rely on? I don't know that. I don't think so.
Okay. Let's get to some of these supers. Guys, I appreciate it. Please hit the like button.
Here is Hungry Dogs. Where does Sills live and why? When offered a free place with Jimmy and the keys. A weird question. What do you mean?
When offered, well, here's the key. You ready for this? I've been offered a place to move. Get this, lease to own. We've been waiting for this one family to move out.
Where, in Florida?
In Almirada.
Oh, wow. Do it.
Listen,
I've been telling you to get out of California.
Listen, Jimmy told me this. Jimmy told me as soon as these people move, I talked to him 2 nights ago. My aunt's been waiting too. She's saying the same thing. And so get this. As soon as that happens, how you doing? So there you go, my friend.
There you go. Steph says, no OC wants the job. AJ's out. Hurts regressed. Nick is incompetent. O-line is aged like a Great Dane. Say hello to your 2026.
Okay.
A great Dane is insane, dude.
Let's do this. Let's play to this super chat here. What if your football team goes 7-10 next year?
They're not going to go 7.
Oh, I
don't think they are. If they do, I'll be surprised.
Wait, if they go 7-10, you were surprised they got beat by the Niners. If they go now that's one game compared to a season. I get it. 7-10. What kind of changes do you think would be made?
Everything. It'd be a Doug Peterson 2020 redo.
QB and coach?
Yep. Yeah, remember, Hurts' guaranteed money is going to run out soon, so they're going to want a new contract.
2 years, right?
So the guaranteed money might be up after this year. I have to double check that. I'll ask John that. I'll double check it, but sometimes the spot track stuff is not hard to tell exactly where it is. But
Because the upfront money is not really. I mean, I don't think they get the upfront money right.
Well, the other thing is like, this is really the year. If Jalen is going to, if the Eagles have identified that Hurts is the quarterback for the next, let's say, 5 years, this would be the summer that they would make the deal. I mean, it's been
they'd give him the extension now.
3 years.
Oh, by the way, did you hear that the Eagles this offseason here, for them to maneuver around, they're going to have to restructure AJ's deal. They're going to have to restructure Hurts's deal, because they've got void years on some of these other guys that they're going to be able to have to move around to do the Carters, maybe to do Phillips. By the way, like you said, now you're adding Reed Blankenship. Obviously, you're saying Nolan Smith's gone and Nakobe are gone.
Yeah, but Nolan Smith's not up yet.
Well, I thought you said they'd like to get ahead of things.
They're not going to pay Nolan long term, but they're going to keep him through the 5th-year option probably, or maybe what's this? Is this year 4 for Nolan coming up?
Are you going to pick the 5th year up for him?
Well, he's here next year. I think he might be gone after that, after next year.
So you don't pick the 5th year up this offseason?
No, I think they'll probably pay Jalix next year, because that'll be Jalix's year 3. After year 3, he'll be eligible. If he has a good year next year, they'll pay Jalix, let Nolan walk, and maybe they either have Jalen Phillips under contract already, or they draft somebody this year, and then you have Jalix in the 1st-round draft pick.
What do you do with Dean?
Dean, unfortunately, I think is going to be cut, or not cut, let go.
Waived.
No, he's not under contract. He's just not going to be signed. I like Nakobe Dean. I wanted him to be here. I would vouch for him to be here. But unless they're going to move off of Bond, which I do understand is very unlikely, it would be a little bit Bill Belichickian to get cheaper at linebacker with a player that, like, let me ask you this. Zach Bond and Jahad Campbell next year. Nakobe Dean and Jahad Campbell next year. How much worse is Nakobe and Jahad versus Bond and Jahad?
It's the injury thing, though, dude, that I can't count on. I like what you're saying. Yeah, however, I'll tell you what I would do if I was Nakobe. Because of that injury, I tell my agent, hey, you think the grass is greener in Tennessee? I go there, get blown out. All of a sudden, that defense blows.
Yeah, you're going to get
I'm out of work. I got a bag of money, but everyone looks at me now like I'm just this stiff.
But you also have
wanted here. You're wanted here.
Remember, TJ Edwards, they didn't want to pay him. He was undrafted in Philly. He's still balling in Chicago. That was 4 years ago.
I know. He's really had a great career. Unfortunate what happened to him in that playoff game, but he had a great couple of years.
I think Nakobe will prevail. I do. I think he'll have a good career. But I do agree the injuries are tough.
I could see Nakobe in Carolina.
I could see that.
Down where he's from.
Pittsburgh. Popeye, I could see Pittsburgh.
Yep. Maybe even Atlanta.
Here's Big William. I wonder if they have Big Dom frisking these OCs for a playbook, yelling back at Don Laurie. Boss, he's clean. Maybe, William. Who knows, brother? Kyle says, Sills and Xander, I think it was cool. I got to see the potential NFL MVP and Drake May play at UNC. It was the Minnesota game. Yeah, he's awesome, man. He's a great.
I told everyone the best OC in football is in New England. Josh McDaniel. Really? Name me a guy with more rings and has done more with 2 different quarterbacks.
Yeah, but I think in strictly, I mean, if you take away some of those other variables and look at offensive, just who's the best offensive mind, I wouldn't put him up there, but I think he's very good.
I'll tell you what.
I'm taking Kyle over anybody. Kyle and Ben over anybody.
Man, I'll tell you what. Josh McDaniels, man.
Dude,
he's a proven winner.
Beast, dude. Dude,
he's a proven winner, McDaniels. Why do you think Vrabel wanted him?
He fell flat on his face as a head coach, man.
Okay, that is no bearing at all.
Imagine Kyle if he didn't care to be a head coach and had a guy who
fell flat on his face as an OC in Atlanta.
I know, and they lost. They were up 28-3 and blew the game. Believe me, I'm aware.
Coordinator of that Atlanta team or that Patriots team.
McDaniel, yep, that's true. He also had the great equalizer and the great player who never graced a football field. But all right, let's put it all.
Okay, so wait a minute. If Josh McDaniels wins the Super Bowl with Drake May, where are we going with that?
Then he's going to be approaching pretty sick territory.
Yeah. Okay.
Hangry got that one already. Pump says, y'all think Hurts would listen more if we hired a brother? I mean, Brian Johnson was not all that bad if Hurts stopped screwing him over with the turnovers. Maybe. I don't know, man. Who knows?
Hey, Pump, really? Even you now, right?
Who knows, brother? I
Oh,
get it. Here's Sam. Brian Dable was never coming to the Eagles. He told us in the press conference when he looks at the tape, A.J. Brown is always open. So who does that fall on?
Oh,
Hurts.
I forgot.
Dude, I forgot. That's a great pull. I forgot
Way
about
to
that.
go, Samuel.
That was like week 3 or 4 or 6.
I
in one of those
forgot
weeks.
he said that.
Dude, he did
say that. Remember, he goes, I don't know what they're talking about. AJ's always open.
Well, now it's been proven true. He wants to go coach Cam Ward, unproven Cam Ward over Jalen.
Wow. Hey, can you see AJ Brown out in Los Angeles with Herbert and Mike McDaniel?
Herbert, AJ, and McDaniel.
Yeah.
Oh, and Harbaugh is the coach.
Harbaugh. And that defense.
Could he go back to Tennessee? Speaking of Dable.
Wow.
Pair him up with Cam Ward.
Do you think Cam's the guy?
I think he's got a lot of talent.
Well, we're going to find out with all these guys.
Do you think he's the guy? You got a fat ass Miami logo on your chest.
I don't know.
Okay. Tells me all I need to know.
Sam,
thanks for the $5. Here's Pump. It's simple, fellas. We all men here, so I'll say it. No one wants to coach Jalen Hurts. It's like ripping off a Band-Aid. Hurts is a creative mind repellent.
Come on, Pump. Pump, he's got 2 NFC titles and a Super Bowl.
Here's Khaled. I can't read Pump. He's going to Pump. You're going to get me in trouble. Khaled said, Billy 500 is probably listening. He's going to roast me like he did last week when he came on. He fucking roasted me in the Battle Royale. Billy 500. Yeah, Nick needs to get off my team. Imagine wanting the Titans over the Eagles. Shows how joke of a front office and team we are. This is sad. I still can't believe it. And it's not even like he got the job. Like, he had his agent put out, if I don't get Buffalo, I want to go to Tennessee over the Eagles. So, by the way, the tweet wasn't only about Dable. It was about the Eagles. Diana tweeted, the Eagles have had interest in Dable, but he wants to go to Buffalo or Tennessee. Because it's as brutal as it gets, folks. Abe says, if Chargers ask to trade for AJ, that'll be insane.
Oh, my God. You put A.J. Brown out there on the other side of Keenan Allen and Justin Herbert, Mike McDaniel, and also Jim Harbaugh. Bro, you're going to win some ball games, man. A.J., get his 1,500.
They already won some ball games, and his offensive line was one of the worst in history. That's how bad his offensive line ranked out this year.
Oh, man. Who do you think?
Again.
Hey, wait, before you read this, who do you think gets better next year? The O-line? The O-line? Or Hurts?
O-line.
All right.
Ascent to the mean.
Get noted. Look, the profit.
We have the only section of fans who actually think Jalen Hurts is good. Like, come on, man. These MFers are delusional. Fellas, Hurts is the issue. He blows.
Damn.
Man, Pumper's ruthless today, dude.
He is, man. He's coming off the top rope.
He is off the top rope. I was saying this morning, the school of Brian Pumper, the enrollments are through the roof. And the school of M. Reyes, people are dropping out. They're not paying their tuition. The school of M. Reyes is dying on the vine, while the school of Brian Pumper is like a rocket ship.
Damn.
Here's Michael. Big swings for OC. Shit, we button. Good God. I don't know what you're saying. Sorry, dude. I got to speak English. I'm sure the super fucked it up. All right, got that one. One more. If Hurts leaves and we don't win, then what? Yeah, we'll look back and,
Right. So, Z, before we get the guys on.
Dude, please get me off of here. You're killing me today.
Wait. I just
You're killing me today, dude. You're making me criticize every fucking part of this team, man.
So now we're Timu signing OCs? Is that what this is? The Timu OC signing season?
I guess, dude.
You're going to get a guy named Billy Bob Joe Cooter in here.
We can't even get Brian Dable. He's like, I'll take Tennessee and the shitty Titans.
Who got rid of AJ and Vrabel.
Wait a second. 1 second before I leave here. What is the Titans' record in the last 5 years? Let's see what this says. All right, they were okay in 2020 and 21. They were 12-5 in 21. Then they got rid of AJ Brown and fell off a cliff.
Yeah. Here's the last one here, Z.
Someone needs to take Pump's picture, enlarge it, and hold it behind the upright in the stands when opposing kicker goes up for the game-winning kick. That'd be funny. I don't want to pull up Pump's picture. It's funny. All right, I'm out of here. Please get me off the show.
Big Z, we'll catch
Get me off the show, man.
Big Z will catch you in the morning, brother.
All right, dude, later.
Love you, man. All right, that's my boy Big Z. Well, so let me get this right. Mr. Capri Pants and the guy who vapes says he didn't want to come and had no interest in being the OC in Philly. So it's one of the worst jobs right now out there, being the offensive coordinator, is the one in Philadelphia. Is that an indictment on the coach, the quarterback? What is it? Oh, and by the way, Dallas Cowboys have their own BS going on in Dallas right now, too. Who's going to be their DC? What direction do the Cowboys go? Can they catch the Philadelphia Eagles now in this offseason? Without further ado, we bring in one of the great content creators, our friend of the Dallas Cowboys, that is Mark Holmes, and also our friend, the legendary Philly 500. He joins us now here. How you doing, guys?
What's happening? What's going on?
Ooh, what's going on, good people? I've been like in under a house and all that, like a cave. So kind of like Aaron Rodgers, just without the magic mushrooms.
Oh, and were you in the dark too?
It was dark. It was definitely dark. So did I miss anything?
Well, no,
with the Eagles?
I'll help you out before we go to my boy over here. So nobody wants the OC.
Billy, are you okay?
Nobody wants the OC job
in
Philly because of the coach and the quarterback. That's what's and Brian Dable said today, I'd rather have the Tennessee Titans OC job than the Philadelphia Eagle OC job. I'm just curious. Mark, what do you think about that?
On the outside looking in, you look at it and say last year they were Super Bowl champions, that they have two great wide receivers, a really good tight end, a battered and bruised offensive line. You would think that would be a place you'd want to go. But you're telling me that Brian Dable wants to go to Tennessee instead? Now, I did hear that the Bills want to interview him for head coaching as a head coach candidate. So maybe that was part of it.
But Bob Lamont put out that if he doesn't get that job, he'll take the Tennessee job and coach with Robert Saleh.
Wow. That's kind of crazy. Now, I can't really make fun because we got our own issues in trying to find a defensive coordinator as well. I think, the problem with us is we have changed defensive coordinators every freaking year. There's not any stability there. And people might look at that and say, do I want to go there and be there for a year and get blamed and fuck up my opportunity to become a head coach? So I can't laugh too much.
Philly, hook me up here, man. What's going on here with your boys here, man? I mean, you're going to be hiring a guy by the way, I want you to know this. I don't give a shit who you hire, OC. I don't think it matters.
Okay, I do think it matters, but okay. But I'll tell you this: this whole Brian the bullshit. Screw that guy. Screw him big time. Let me tell you, everybody's got a short memory with this guy. He refused to interview for the Eagles head coaching job a few years ago. He's been screwing us before. I didn't want him to come in for an interview to begin with because I knew he was a little bitch like this. So I'm not surprised at all that he would go ahead and say he was going to take the Titans offensive coordinator job. He's a moron. He coached the Giants and they did nothing. So hell with him. I'm glad he doesn't want to take a job because the truth of the matter is he screwed us before. Why would the Eagles even reach out to him after him refusing the interview before?
Okay.
So to me, I don't take anything from it except for Brian DeBall's being Brian DeBall.
How about this one? Okay, so Mike McDaniel is he's taking the Chargers job and he's doing it with Jim Harbaugh, and he's gonna now again also. There's reports now, because he hasn't inked that down yet, that he's going to be interviewed for that Raider gig because they're going to take Fernando Mendoza #1. So he may be the guy going into Las Vegas and he may get that job. So how how are you perceiving this here? I mean, it does. You're hearing Diane Rossini say this is an awful job and one of the worst jobs. Do you agree? Do you think it's a good job, or do you think that this is a bad job?
I mean, I look at it and I go, man, to me, this should be, in my opinion, an attractive job because of the talent you have. But listen, every time an offensive coordinator goes to Philly and does a good job, they become a head coach. It's like you're going to become a head coach if you have one good year as offensive coordinator for Philly. So to me, I would think for that, it would be attractive. But I'm not going to sit there and say that there isn't something wrong within the organization. To me, there's something that goes on that's deeper, that is going on, that maybe is part of the reason why, like, a McDaniel doesn't want to come in and interview. And I'll even say this: how serious could the Eagles have been about courting him for offensive coordinator job when they didn't even bring him into Philly?
They did a Zoom with him.
They did a Zoom. What?
I'm not.
If I'm trying to hire a guy, I'm going to say, man, we're going to fly you first class. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. I'm going to try to wine and dine him. They didn't try to do that. So how serious were they about him even coming there? I don't know.
Do you think it's a good? So you think it's a good job? How come though these people don't?
I think on the surface it's a good job.
Okay.
But I think that I do think there's got to be something, and I think we all know it, but we don't know, and we don't know what it is. There's something inside internally that is all screwed up, and maybe there are people that don't want to be involved in it. That is possible. I don't know, but something within the organization is not right.
Mark, do you think it's either not wanting to work with Jalen or not wanting to work with Nick?
I think it's probably both. Now, being on the outside looking in, because as much as the Eagles, y'all hate us and everything else, y'all are becoming a lot more like the Dallas Cowboys with the drama and the situation and everything else. It's actually nice for us to actually not have as much drama as we usually do. But in the same way I was just talking about, if you're an up-and-coming coordinator, do you want to go to Dallas knowing that they've gone through 3 defensive coordinators in the last 3 years? You guys, you look at it and say, y'all done gone through 5 in 5 years.
No, 7 in 7. 7
okay, 7 in 7 years. So you look at that and say, do I want to go there and end up having a train wreck? And if you're Brian Diebold, who I still can't believe that anybody wants to talk to him about being a head coach, I thought it was a complete disaster with the Giants. If you go with Philadelphia and it ends up being same kind of drama, you're not getting the next gig. You're going to be persona non grata. So I think it's definitely something with the coach, because, Philly, you've gone through and said you've got this Nick Sirianni prevent offense. And if I'm an offensive coordinator, why would I want to go there if the head coach is going to, end up cutting me off at the knees?
Yeah, but to Philly's, this is what Nick fires back at. Hey, dude, I'm 50-18 in 4 years. I got 2 NFC titles, and I've got a Super Bowl win. So who are you here with the capri pants in your Gucci bag? I mean, you can say whatever you want here, but that goes down. But that goes down this line too, Philly. Okay, so you want me to what? Run 25% of my offense? That's not a job for me. As you can see, winning is not a priority with these coordinating candidates. It's how do I become a head coach? It's more about your offense moving the sticks, isn't it? Because you're right. On the peripheral, well, shit, they're 50-18 in 4 years. Well, how couldn't that be the number one job? But coordinators are showing you it's not.
Yeah, well, I mean, the thing about it is, if you take McDaniel off the table and you take the Bull off the table, right, because those were apparently their top 2 candidates.
Right.
I mean, it's really a big mess of who's out there, who do they want. So to me, once you get McDaniels off the board, to me, they're all pretty much the same in a lot of ways, right? That's how I see it. So I would have loved to see them push for McDaniel more, but he's a little bit of a weird guy. I don't know what he's thinking or whatever. But when I hear that he had a Zoom call, then I wonder how serious it ever really got, how hard they pursued it. So I just don't know.
Phil, you do realize that the first interview is supposed to be a Zoom call, and then you actually bring them in. Everybody,
Well, yeah,
all the interviews that the Cowboys did, they first did a Zoom
Right.
call. Especially if they're still employed by another team, you only have 2 days that you can actually talk to them.
But
So
I
pretty
do
much
think
everybody
but I
does
do
the Zoom
think,
call
guys,
first and then brings them in.
Yeah, but Mark, I do think because of all the job openings and the positions of OC and DC that are open, I think there's a sense of urgency for teams because you don't want to be left with
Oh, I
what
agree.
a lot of people are being left with right now with the lesser. But I happen to agree with Philly. These Zach Robinsons, the Cooter, and all the rest of these guys, the Josh Grizzards, I think you could throw them in the hat, and I think they're the same guy.
Yeah, I agree with you, and that's what my biggest worry is right now is that we're going to be left holding the bag as far as DC, and your former DC may end up being the guy. Now we do have Christian Parker in today being interviewed, and there's no word on how that's gone so far.
that worries me more.
Yeah.
Well, I'm hoping that maybe we can take a little bit from you, have some insight on your defense, and potentially down the road get some comp picks because he becomes a head coach someplace. Yeah, that's my hope. I really don't want.
Let me ask you something. So I didn't mean to cut you off, Mark. I'm sorry, but let me say this. So, and I don't know this because I've heard and read multiple things. But who's leading this? Who's in charge of the search for offensive coordinator?
I heard it's Julian Lurie, the kid. I
Uh-huh.
heard it's Howie, and I heard it's the owner, and then Nick, because this is what Jeff McClain did. Jeff McClain put a tweet out, then the Eagles made him walk it back. I happen to believe the initial report that the management team is leading the search, and Nick is involved, but I don't think Nick is a decision maker in this.
Well, that's good news, in my opinion.
Okay.
But usually with Howie, if he wants somebody, he gets them. I mean, he goes all out to get somebody. He doesn't waste time. So I wonder how much he's really involved in it.
Guys, here's what I heard about McDaniel. Dan Campbell walked out of the interview when he went up to Detroit because he wanted to bring his own people in and hire his own assistant coaches. Pretty much the same thing happened in Tampa with Todd Bowles. They were not going to do that. That's a $15 million move when you're going to do stuff like that. That's why, again, these guys were being recruited. This is the first time, Mark, I've ever seen a situation where coaches have been fired that are being recruited. Most of the guys were like Kellen a couple of years ago, a couple dents in the fender. You took the job because you had to take the job. Yeah. These guys here have really their choice of options, and that's really changed. And I think the three things that changed it were Pittsburgh, Baltimore, and Buffalo.
Right.
That changed the entire hiring process.
We're sitting here with 10 openings. The record before was 9. So right now, there's not a whole lot of people out there. That's why Kevin Stefanski gets zapped up real quick and things. There aren't enough people. So there's going to be some teams that are going to be left in here holding the bag. That's why Mike McCarthy, surprisingly, is, the leading candidate, Pittsburgh, which is different than what they normally do. They usually get an unknown and look at it and say, we're going to keep it for 19 years. I can't see Mike McCarthy coaching for 19 years. That's a short-term kind of a deal with his age. So everything's kind of broken, and everybody is scrambling really hard right now because you're going to have 10 staffs out there that have to be filled. And there's going to be some that are just getting some toaster leavings.
Let me ask you this here on Javonte Adams and Brandon Aubrey. You think they're going to redo their contracts? You think they're going to extend them?
You mean George Pickens?
No. I mean these guys. Do you think these guys here, you think they're going to be left out?
You're talking about Davante Adams?
No. Williams, Javonte Williams. My bad.
Okay. He supposedly was really good as far as an interview went with it. I still think that they really want to get Leonard from Denver, and they may be waiting, but I'm afraid that he's going to probably go to New York with Harbaugh, and then the Cowboys are left with Jonathan Gannon. That's my worry right now. Everybody that we've interviewed is interviewing everywhere else. And if I'm looking at these jobs, if I'm looking at it and saying, do I want to go to Dallas and get fucked over, and then I don't have a chance at a head coaching job? Or do I look and go someplace else where I can coach for a couple of years, keep my resume clean, and maybe get a head coaching job? That's the problem that we're fighting. We got as much drama as the Eagles do with dealing with Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts.
For you here, Billy, AJ Brown. Here, let me ask you this. Here it is.
He's always open. He's always open.
The AJ Brown situation got to a point of no return?
I have no idea. But when you hear that a guy requested a trade multiple times, it doesn't sound good, right? Yep. So it doesn't sound good, but I still have no intention of trading him if I can avoid it. My goal, I think the best case scenario is if you could get him to win, be won over by the new offensive coordinator and excited about the offense. I think that would be the best route, but I don't know if it's fixable or not. It sounds like it's not. But
can I?
How would you handle this, Mark?
Well, you saw what happened with Micah Parsons, literally falling asleep on the training table. What if he becomes a distraction like that and just says, I am going to be so ugly, and that what you saw this year will be minor? At some point, you kind of have to say we have to move on.
But here, you're not better if you lose this guy and you lose Goddard on top of that. How do the Eagles get better by losing A.J. Brown? What are you going to do? Sign some dude or get a draft pick? That doesn't make you better.
You know what? Here's what you really need to look at. This is from the outside looking in. You got your Super Bowls. You've done incredibly well. Maybe it's time to say, let's cut bait for a year or two and just kind of start all over.
That's not how they think.
I know it's not how you think, but take a look at the Rams. Look what the Rams did. They won that Super Bowl. They ended up having all these bloated contracts and stuff. They got rid of them. They never really got that bad, but they're still one of the great teams. And you've got a lot of contracts that are in here that you're going to have to restructure to try and keep maintaining it. See, Dallas, we always believe we're close, and we keep signing and spending big money on a couple of guys instead of just tearing it down and starting over. I'm just saying.
Philly, doesn't this tell you, too, with what you're watching with these coordinators not having interest in the job, AJ wasn't wrong this year. Everything he said about the offense, you're watching with the actions of the guys, not a guy taking the Tennessee Titans job over the Eagle job. AJ Brown talking about the offense. I'm talking about accumulation of all these things that you're starting to see now. I mean, AJ's not wrong, dude. So they're going to castrate a guy for saying that the offense is inept. I find you need to make this right.
Yeah, I agree. He never was wrong. When he said it, I agreed with him at the time. I think most Eagle fans agree with him. I just don't think people. I just think people thought he was being a wide receiver diva, and I actually think he was speaking up for multiple players on that offense. As I've said before, I think he was kind of the guy they said, all right, go public and take the arrows. But I agree with you. He was right, and I think they should do their best to try to, win him back over and calm the situation and keep the guy. You're better off with A.J. Brown than getting rid of him.
Well, Philly, I'm going to give you a little insight that nobody knows right now. According to Drew Rosenhaus's people, they want a Milton Williams deal for Jalen Phillips.
Okay, they want a Milton Williams deal for Jalen Phillips?
Yep. That's
so under 30?
That's 26 large per.
Can't do it.
I said I wouldn't do anything 30 or over. So I'll probably pass. I have to extend Jordan Davis, and I have to extend Jalen Carter this off season. So
you're going to give Jalen Carter $35 million based off of that year last year.
Based off of what I believe he can
You're
give
basing it off of potential. You're going to give a guy on potential means they haven't really done it.
Yeah, because I look at a team like Dallas and how they screwed Micah Parsons up I
Okay.
mean, big time. If they would have paid him 2-3 years ago, he would have been making what, in the 30s, and he would have been fine, and they would have had no problem. Look how they screwed that up. I'm not going to wait on Carter and he comes back next year and is dominant, and then now I'm paying him even more. No, I'm going to pay him. Maybe I could even get a little bit of a deal here or there, a little bit of out because of the way the season went with him. And I'm gonna sign him this year.
So, Mark, how about this? This is what Philly wants. So I'm assuming, Philly, you correct the number if I'm wrong. You're going to pay in excess of $60 million for 2 defensive linemen. You're going to pay 25 for Davis, who's a 2-down player, and 35.
I don't think Davis is 25 million.
Well, right now he's making 12.
I think he's 18 to 20.
So $55 million you're going to pay for 2 tackles.
I'm not letting those 2 guys go. I'm just not. I'm building my defense around. If I have to take a pay cut and say edge rushers and have to go draft young guys and find guys like that, I will do it. I am not letting Jordan. To me, Jordan Davis proved too valuable to let him go. Too valuable.
How many more years are you going to go with Dak?
I think that here's what I have to look at. Okay, now Jerry Jones is 83 years old, and I'm not trying to wish anything on him, but average age of a billionaire white male is about 86. I look at this and I say, Jerry Jones and Dak Prescott, 3 years. You got 3 years to do something with them, and that's what I would look at right now. If you had asked at the beginning of last year, you would have said the Cowboys have an out after next year. But the way he played and the hits that he took, you look at that and say, we're okay. And you do have triggers that you can use to kick that money down the road. And I think the salary cap's going to go up about $30 million this year. So, if I'm the Cowboys, if I'm Jerry Jones, I look at this, I'm flipping all the triggers that I have. I'm grabbing $100 million. I'm signing George Pickens, and I'm going to be a player in free agency. Maybe I make a trade and try and get Max Crosby or somebody else that's a legitimate defensive end with one of those picks. And I'm taking the other pick, and I'm taking the best defensive player available, and I'm getting a few free agents to supplement that defense.
Do you have buyer's remorse on CeeDee Lamb with the amount of money you paid him?
No, not at all. Not at all.
You're good with that money.
Even with the injuries, he's still over 1,000 yards. And you can see that.
Do you agree you build your team from the inside out, not the outside in?
You do. And we ended up getting a stud in Tyler Booker, who's, all rookie team on the offensive line. We've got 3 great interior offensive linemen that are young. Our problems are our tackles. I think that really they need to think about taking Tyler Guyton and switching him back to the right side and either kicking Tyler Smith to left tackle. And, maybe you find another guard to go in there, or if you can find a left tackle, get a left tackle.
Philly, do you think your problems in 2025 were more O-line or more OC when it came to your offense?
I still think, as bad as the OC was, I still think it was O-line. That O-line really, really struggled. And I think we got away with a lot of stuff the year before just because that offensive line was so good. So I still think that was your number one problem. I think the offensive line was your number one problem.
Lane or A.J. Brown, Philly? What's your biggest conversation if you're the Eagles? Because if Lane retires, doesn't that dictate who you take in the April draft? And if A.J. is potentially moved, does that switch, and does that make you go wide receiver in the first round? Aren't those 2 issues a lot to do with what you're going to do in the upcoming draft? Because if Lane retires, dude, Fred Johnson's not the guy.
No, he's not the guy. But, you can't draft the right tackle just to draft the right tackle. Okay. If the best player on the board when the Eagles are picking 23 is an edge rusher, I'm not taking a right tackle over the – I'm still going best player available. So you kind of have to take what's there. Of course, you got to look for a replacement to him if he retires. As far as AJ goes, I do think that dictates maybe when you get that you have to take a receiver early, but you have to go out and sign a receiver free agency. The rookie is not going to cut it. you have to go out and still sign, I don't know, Brandon Ayuk or somebody like that. I don't even know who's available. But if you go out and get rid of A.J. Brown, you got to go out and get a receiver in free agency and in the draft, as far as I'm concerned.
Jonathan Gannon, Christian Parker, Jim Leonard is the pass game D coordinator, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Any of those candidates, Mark? Jonathan Gannon, any of those guys? Christian Parker? You like there in Dallas?
To a man, nobody wants Jonathan Gannon.
Why? Okay. Get him. He's great. Get him.
Why? He took the Eagles to the Super Bowl.
Eberflus disciple. Okay. They kind of worked together there before. No, Jonathan Gannon, we don't want him. Christian Parker, I think, would definitely be a lot better. I'm still holding out hope that we can get Brian Flores, because Brian Flores, he's interviewed with Baltimore. He's interviewed with
Commanders,
with the Commanders for defensive coordinator and for head coach with the Steelers. But it seems like Mike McCarthy's got the inside track, and I don't know of any other interviews that he has. So, although with all the openings, somebody else is eventually going to call him and say, maybe we need to look at this guy.
Philly,
there never was a better person made for the Dallas Cowboys than Jonathan Gannon. We hate him already. So put him on that stupid star and let's go.
Wait,
that's what I say.
How many years do you think Dak has left, Philly?
Oh, I think they should trade him this whole season. To me, you might as well do it now while you can get something for him. I think 2 at most. I think he's got about 2 years to get it done. Otherwise, it's over.
They could bring Kyler Murray in then, and he could be the quarterback in Dallas.
Ooh.
and have Kyler Murray in there. I mean, you
Thanks
can
move. They got 2 years. I mean, he's what, 34? Is he 34 more?
He'll be 33 this year.
33. I mean, yeah, about 2 years. You got about 2 years, I think.
Couple more here for you guys. Billy, so is this more of an indictment on Sirianni or Jalen Hurts that nobody wants the OC job?
That's a good question. I think I got to go with Nick Kotite. I think it's Nick. I think it's Nick, dude. Listen. I understand there are reports out and stuff with Jalen, but I listen to things Jalen says. I listen to other people talk about him that played for him. I don't think he's as difficult as everybody says. I do think Nick is, though. I think a lot of guys probably look at Nick and go, "You want me to answer to that guy? Really? I don't think so." So I would say Nick more than Jalen, if I had to guess, and I don't even know.
Let me ask you something here. With all the problems going on, Mark, and how about this? I don't know problems. How about this? Situations they have to clean up over there with some of the things, with injuries, with cap, finding an OC. Do you believe you're closing the gap on the Philadelphia Eagles now?
Oh, definitely. I think, I know the Michael Parsons situation. No, it's closing the gap and catching are two different things. Any movement closer together is definitely closing the gap. Didn't say we were overtaking you, but you can't look at it and say that this team that you had this year.
You did beat them.
Yeah, we did. That this team this year was as good as the team was the year before. You stepped back, right or wrong.
Yeah. No.
Okay.
Yeah.
We ended up getting rid of Micah Parsons.
I will not admit to that.
You will not admit it. I know you won't, because you are such
a
homer.
You step back this year,
is always unicorns.
Philly, you don't think you stepped back as a unit from a year ago?
No, I think talent-wise, I actually liked what we had. I think we underperformed. And
AJ Brown is going crazy.
I don't believe AJ Brown.
Okay?
But this is
battered and bruised.
This is where I blame Nick.
Jalen Hurts, and Saquon is a shell of himself. And you still say that that right there is the same as the team that won the Super Bowl? You call us delusional? You're delusional, Billy.
All three things you said are all speculation. They're not fact. The fact is
your
you can't sit there.
Line couldn't stay healthy. Lane Johnson might freaking retire.
Saquon Barkley did not lose a step. A.J. Brown, yes, he wanted out, but you can't tell me he can't play football
He
anymore.
was
I don't believe
900
that.
yards off of the number of a year ago.
I get it, but he also why was he? We know it's not just because his yards were down, therefore he's done and he's gone and he isn't the same guy. No, we know that offensive line struggled all year, Stills. That's why towards the end of the year, I think he had 5 games at 100 yards. His numbers actually came up at the end of the year. He started playing much better football. But that's because of the offensive line. If you want to say anything where we weren't talented as we were a year ago, it'd be the offensive line. But I look at that defense. I actually thought that defense was playing, for the most part. They disappeared in the Niners game, but I thought they showed that they could play just like the defense the year before. I think they had the talent. I still look at the teams playing, and I think the Eagles are just as talented as those teams. So I don't buy that narrative. I think it's a bunch of bullshit. Actually, I think the coaching is what was the downfall of this team.
What do you think, Mark?
I was going to say, if you're as good as those teams, then how come you got mollywopped in the playoffs? How come you lost to the Dallas Cowboys? We know
wait a minute. He's saying, listen, they got beat by San Francisco, Mark, because of coaching. They didn't get beat because of better talent. I mean, the Eagles had. Would you not agree? Wait a minute. Would you not agree? Oh no. I get it. But when he calls him like Nick Kotai, there's no question in that San Francisco game that the Eagles had by far a better roster. What happened? They were completely outcoached.
No.
Robert Saleh and Kyle Shanahan took them to the woodshed in coaching. It wasn't because they were a better roster. Wasn't that on display?
Yeah. That's right. You could have a very talented team and not live up to the capabilities of how talented that team is. The Eagles fell short this year, but you can't tell me that isn't a talented roster. I do not believe that for one bit.
So do you believe, Mark, you think the Cowboys are trending up, right?
Yes. Their defense got nowhere to go but up.
How about this?
Offense played pretty good.
Philly, do you think the Eagles are trending up?
No, not yet. I think right now we're in a holding pattern.
What's the holdup?
You need an offensive coordinator. How are you supposed to build your offense and fix the things that you had wrong when you don't even know who your coach is? So we've got to fix some things, but we don't know where we're going with our offense right now. So I think right now, we're talking about the beginning of the off season. We're not talking about it being August. But right now, I have no idea who's the offensive coordinator. I have no idea what their plan is, what kind of offense they want to run, how they're going to go about doing things. So how can we add anything right now when we don't even know who our coaching is?
Last 2 ones here. It's the conference title games. Mark, who do you like in the AFC Championship game? Obviously, no Bo Nix. It's Jarrett Stidham in the game. Patriots roll into that game. Probably the favorites heading in there without a headless, guy in there without the quarterback. What do you see in that one there? You think the Patriots take care of business to get back to another Super Bowl?
Yeah, the Patriots take care of it. But I would love to see my former JMU Duke, Ben DiNucci, who they re-signed, get in there and get some action and become the hero, become the next Nick Foles. That would be an incredible story right there.
Absolutely. I think Sean Payne's going to make that game closer than you think. What do you think, Philly? AFC Patriots go to another Super Bowl?
I'm going to say Denver's going to find a way.
Wow.
I'm going to say they find a way.
Defense, right?
Well, sometimes when things like that happens, teams come together, man. I don't know. I think it's just one of those gut feelings where everybody thinks New England's just going to run through them. And I'm going to say Denver's going to come out and find a way, and they're going to win.
I'm going to ask you one question here before we go to the NFC title game. Oh, Philly, do you think the 2 best teams in the NFC are playing in the NFC Championship game?
Yeah.
I do too.
I do.
I do too. Who do you think wins?
Rams. I think the Rams are going to win. I still don't know about Darnold. He looked pretty good, in that playoff game versus the Niners, but they crushed the Niners. That Rams game, the last one in Seattle, was in overtime. They should have won. I have a feeling the Rams are going to go in there and upset Seattle.
I got to tell you, man, I got Seattle winning that game, Mark. What do you think?
That I'm telling you, playing in Seattle is like being inside of a jet engine. The crowd is a factor in that place, and they will be rocking. And D-Law is on a mission to go ahead and say F you Cowboys, because he already let us know that he wasn't going to win a Super Bowl with the Cowboys. And, you know, that would be the perfect way to stick it in Jerry Jones's eye.
Oh, my God. I hadn't thought that. And by the way, how about this, Philly? If you're Jets fans, guys, they had Joe Namath 2.0. If Darnold hoists that Super Bowl trophy, can you imagine if you're a Jets fan, you let that dude roll out the window and you couldn't fucking bring coaches in to coach that guy? It would be the ultimate F, right, Philly?
What about Minnesota? They also have.
Yeah.
That would be crazy.
It shows you what good coaching does, doesn't it?
Sure
you got good coaching, man, around you. Do you know that guy's won 29 games? He's 29-6 in the last 2 years. Now he's in the NFC title game.
One step away from the Super Bowl.
Wait, I got one here. I got one. I got to sneak this in. Mark, if he wins the Super Bowl and Super Bowl MVP, would Sam Darnold be considered elite to you?
Would he be considered? He's got a hell of a defense, though, bro. This is the narrative you have to look at. You know,
no, this is the Jalen Hurts narrative.
I would say yes.
I mean, I guess you have to. You just put it out there with the
Philly talks about winning all the time. Got to matter, right?
Yeah. I would say yes, not because of 1 year, because he did it multiple years. He's had good years.
2 years.
Different teams.
Two different teams, right? Back, I think you got it.
Yeah, you got to put him up there.
You would have to, man. I completely agree. Hey, Josh Allen not getting it done. What do you guys make of it?
Woo. You know, I got called a racist because I give Josh Allen a hard time, but I give Jalen Hurts a hard time too. But it was funny to me how
towards a white guy.
That's what he said, because you're always giving the white guy a hard way to go. The thing that's funny to me is, you know, like Dan Orlowski is sitting there going about, you know, Sean McDermott got fired and he couldn't get it done and all. It's like, yeah, but his quarterback couldn't kind of get it done either. Yeah, you got 4 turnovers in the championship game here. You can't have that. That one before the halftime, 3 points. You lost by 3 points.
Dakitis, man. He's got Dakitis.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, wait.
You never had 4 turnovers in a playoff game. You don't really
think that's a good football team, do you, Philly?
No. But I
can't have 4 turnovers. I get it. You can't.
I'll say a couple things. One, I also thought they got away with one because I think Cooks was down on that catch.
I did too.
So that was bad. But I think the reason why he was so emotional after that game was because he knew he let a perfectly good situation for him go. He no Mahomes, no Lamar, none of those guys in there, and he blew it. But yeah, you got to win the games, man. You got to win those big games.
You absolutely do. Guys, I appreciate you so much, more than you know, man. Thank you guys so much. Make sure you check out these 2 insane guys and their great shows that they have. Guys, thank you so much, man. I appreciate you very much.
All right, man. Peace out.
You got it, man. That's our guys there, man. Philly 500 and Mark Combs. We can't thank these guys enough. Make sure you guys please hit the like button here, paying some bills. Our great friends at Morgan & Morgan with over $20 billion recovered. Okay? $20 billion recovered. The number 1 injury law firm in all of the country and all of the world is Morgan & Morgan. I told you about the family in Pennsylvania. You know, they were initially offered $650K. They ended up coming back and they got $26 million for that family. Also, a family down in Florida was initially offered $350K. They ended up getting $12 million. Folks, they don't get paid unless you do. That's the rule with Morgan & Morgan, the number 1 injury law firm in all the country. Go to forthepeople.com/big sales or pound law 529. That's forthepeople.com/big sales or pound law 529. And do me a favor, you tell them Big Sale sent you.
There's a reason Detective Johnson is the gossip king.
Oh, did you hear? Jackie and Tom
are getting a divorce? Sad.
Well, I heard that Ashley
had work done on her face? Yeah, oof.
Just like there's a reason Morgan & Morgan is America's largest injury law firm. Injured? With over $25 billion recovered for our clients, there's a reason to go big.
Bathroom? Okay.
Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Oh, okay.
Ignite your nights with free live entertainment daily, only at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia's Center Bar. 7 days a week, enjoy some of the region's top party bands, performers, and DJs as they take the stage in the heart of the casino action. Great cocktails, live music, and lively moments. It's all happening at Center Bar at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia. Visit livecasinophilly.com for more details and the complete list of upcoming events. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
This is Eric. When he got injured in a car accident, he called Morgan & Morgan. He not only gets a lawyer, he gets trial lawyers like Sam and Jessica who are in it to win it. He gets his own investigators with briefcases, leather ones. And if you ever have questions, our customer service folks keep things rolling. Injured? We're your army. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Welcome to the Jet Setters and the High Rollers, to the Shot Takers and the Tastemakers. Welcome to the Viewfinders, the Thrill Seekers, and the Night Owls. Welcome to everything you could possibly want on one 5-mile island. Welcome to the Wildwoods. Book your stay today.
In our hometown, we all look out for each other. We go the extra mile to lend a helping hand. We step up to keep our communities going strong. And at Independence Blue Cross, we're here to keep you going strong. We've been deeply rooted in our communities for more than 85 years. And that connection to members has earned us our spot as the #1 health insurer in the region. So while you look out for your neighbors, know IBX is always looking out for you.
Your gut says Miami is going to win and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on Sports Grid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
EAGLES. Eagles.
Hit the like button, guys. Appreciate it. How much has Jeffrey Lurie, how much has he made this a bad job? How much is the owner responsible for this? You hear John McMullen talking about overreacting all the time. If you were a person that wanted to get the job, you hear Philly and what he says. Philly 500 goes, well, it's hit or miss if you get that coaching job. You know, you're either fired or you get a head coaching job. Offensive coordinators don't want to go in with hit or miss. They want to go in and show that their system works. That's how you get a head coaching. You don't get a head coaching job. Look, what Kellen Moore did, still yet to be determined whether or not he's going to be a good head football coach in New Orleans yet. You don't know yet. Okay? So how has the owner laid the path out here for this team? Like, if you were a person that wanted to go to work for him, I'd want to go to work for him in the front office. As an offense coordinator, I don't think I'd want that job. If I was going to work in the analytics department, and if I was going to work, you know what the better jobs are in Philly? Head of personnel, head of analytics. Those are the best jobs. Being a coach or being a player in Philly, they think they're interchangeable pieces based off their actions. Don't go by what I'm saying. Go by how they act, right? That's how they act. 7 coordinators in the last 6 years. I mean, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to count. You know, the only way you're looking at this, where has the owner made this really an unattractive job? Here's another one. So Jeff McClain put that out that Nick Sirianni's job was on the line after the 23 season. His job was even on the line at 24. Last year, they thought of firing him. How's that? And M. Reyes will tell you the guy's the greatest coach of all time. How is a guy who covers the football team and Jeff McClain telling you he was almost fired last year? And Reyes would tell you the guy was the best coach in the history of the team. Okay? Well, Diane Rossini doesn't cover the team. Rossini said otherwise? Well, Jeff McClain is a beat writer. I believe Jeff McClain more than I believe Diane Rossini. Or do you want to fit a narrative that whatever you're doing, Twiz? Sills, how much would it be to trade up to 17, the earliest projector projected to go? Let me see. Proctor, let me see where he's projected to go. Where is Proctor projected to go? Projected to go and draft. They got Lions, Chargers, Eagles, Texans, or Dolphins. They got him at number 17. I see where you're going. The Athletic put that out. Kuiper's got him at 28. And the Ringer has him going, Caden Proctor to the Eagles at 23. I see a couple Texans. The Dolphins may be potentially moving up to get him also. Man, he's 6'7", 360. That's a big dude, man. Big dude. Watch this. You want to fit a narrative, Bozo, you don't know who's right. No, dude. No, Twiz, all I'm doing is watching the people saying this to you, Twiz. F your job. That's what I'm watching. I'm watching people make your offensive coordinating job into a laughingstock. That's what I'm watching. I'm watching the guy take the Titans OC job over your job. I'm watching people laughing at your narratives that you always have about how great your job is. That's what I'm watching. I'm not talking about it. I'm watching it. It hurts? Really? Isn't it funny? I've been saying this stuff for 5 years to you. Now everybody's got their opinions on it, that it hurts. It's Nick. I've been saying to you about them two dudes. Howie Roseman is the reason that you win. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. It's not coaching. You got beat by a Timu team by San Francisco. It exposed you. How about this? Sue, tell me if you agree with this. The two things in 2025 that showed us a lot. One, superior coaching will beat the Eagles if things aren't going perfect for them and their roster. We saw that in San Francisco. And in this hiring process of the offensive coordinator, nobody wants to coach Hurts and work with Nick. Is that fair? Is that fair? Really, all the things AJ's been saying. Agreed. Okay, good. That's what happened. You kind of had the onion peeled back a little bit. Hey, collapse 2.0 this offense, and we're not even playing. Hey, Trix, I think what is more disappointing is things are getting exposed now. I don't think you're trending up. No big sales. What we learned was this. 1, you were right about everything. 2, Nick Sirianni should be a Temu model. I like the picture there too, by the way. Thank you. I think he's a really good player. I think he was physical in that championship game. I like him a lot. I thought he was, he reminded me of like not like Daryl, not like Revis, but he had Revis size and technique. Pitcher's crazy great. You guys interviewed Matt Nagy. Matt Nagy. Man. Matt Nagy. Yep. Matt Nagy's of the world. The Josh Grizzards. Everybody's trash. He's coming to Philly. Perfect. Just like Kellen Moore. He was everybody's trash. He was the Chargers trash and he was the Cowboys trash. Yes, sir. I don't understand how you accept $1 million paychecks from a team, but you don't put team first. What are you talking about? NFL players, they put themselves first. They don't put team first. They put themselves first. It's professional football. I mean, but do you think they run around going like this? Let's win one for the Gipper. Hey, my teammates need me. I'm getting ready to go play for my team. Screw the money. I'll play for free. Yeah. Yeah. No. That doesn't work like that, dude. That's like made up shit. I play for the team. Me and my teammates. We get together. We go bowling. Play badminton together. Hell, that guy's wife. Yeah. Come on, man. Dude, I think a lot of people, it's not kissing cheerleaders and cashing paychecks, guys. There's more to it, man. We are screwed. Nick Sirianni must be fired. And Jalen, if you don't want to run, we need to draft a quarterback. If the next contract is so important, you won't get one if you are benched. Look at this guy. Like that picture, too. Look at that picture there. That's what I'm talking about. I need to put that picture on my my ex. I need to put that picture on my ex. I don't have an ex-wife. I've only been married once. So let's keep an eye on that tight end from NC State. Rounds 3 and 4. I will. AJ exposed it all in a few tweets. Blew the whole damn thing up. Yeah. Yeah. These guys get paid way too much. Look at the quarterbacks in the championship games aside from Stafford. Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, so check it out. It's a great call there, Sue. So look at the guys in the championship game, the quarterbacks. Let's see how many elite guys. And I'm going to put Bo Nix in that thing, even though he's not playing. So the conference championship games. Let's go here and take a look at how many elite quarterbacks are playing in the. That's a great pull, Sue. Okay. So Drake May's on a rookie contract. Bo Nix is on a rookie contract. Stafford's going to Hall of Fame. And Sam Darnold. May's probably got the best chance of being elite, right? And outside of Darnold or outside of Stafford, you really don't have like an elite guy yet. May get there. Nix and Darnold aren't elite. And Sam Darnold might win a Super Bowl. So that shit that you guys always bring up about Hurts winning a Super Bowl, if Sam Darnold wins a Super Bowl, that narrative ends. Or unless you're going to call Sam Darnold elite. I think the kid's intriguing. Trinidad Chambers. I don't think he's going to get that exemption to play another year at Ole Miss. I don't know, 3rd or 4th round. I actually like the kid. Nick's about to get paid next year. Well, as you can see, quarterbacks who sign $50 million deals, most of them don't pan out. Here, quarterbacks who have signed $50 million contracts. Let's see how they have done. NFL history. QBs that have signed $50 million a year contracts. List. Let's take a look at how many of those dudes have panned out. Okay? Dak Prescott hasn't won shit. He makes 60. Joe Burrow's been to a Super Bowl. Let me write this down. Joe Burrow. Been to one. I'm just going to even give you Allen, not been to one. Love, not been to one. Lawrence, not been to one. Tua, not been to one. Golf, $53 million. He hasn't been to one. He was there when he was on his rookie deal. 53, not yet. Brock Purdy, 53, got it before, not yet. Justin Herbert, 52, no. Lamar, no. Hurts, yes. Murray, no. Deshaun, no. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 quarterbacks have been paid north of $50 million, and 2 have been to the game and won it. Get this. I don't even think Stafford makes $50 million. Stafford makes 40. These $50 million quarterbacks, just because you signed the money, that doesn't mean you're good. Sills, one or the other must go. Sirianni or Hurts? That'd be a great question. Hurts would go. They like Nick. Hurts would be the one to go. They're not gonna let go Sirianni. Hurts is a short time. He's got 3 more years as a quarterback here. Sirianni, they could do magical things with him. He's the perfect coach for them. He's going to listen to what they say. He's going to, the only way Sirianni would get fired if you had a 4-win season. Hurts is not going to be here no matter what, even if they win 10 more, another Super Bowl. They're not going to play that style of play past 3 years. This thing has 3 years left. Do you get that? It has 3 years left. Sometimes teams are in a corner where they have to pay them. Yes, and start over. They drafted Kyler Murray and Trevor. I think Trevor's actually coming around. So get a quarterback that can manage the game and spend money else right. That's what Seattle did. Absolutely. So his question is, Frank Reich out of the conversation? He doesn't want the OC job. Once you get the OC, Frank will be in. He told you that. We have that on tape. If you guys want to go back, what I'll do on my X, I'll go back and I'll retweet that and I'll tag JAKIB on it, and you guys can listen to him. I could do that, right, Z? I'll just retweet it, and you can listen to Frank tell you what he wants to do. Before he was going to take the Stanford job, they were gonna carve out a role for him. He does not want to be the OC. He says those days have passed. We have it on tape. If Jalen is unable to do what he's asked to do, you get Chambliss in the third round, and he'll do what Jalen can't. Listen, these dual threat guys, when I first started talking to you about the dual threat guy, dual threat's not around long. It's not a high ceiling. Some people in Philly are still under the notion the best is yet to come. I don't believe that. I think his best days are behind him. Only because of style of play. And if he doesn't want to run, clearly his best days are behind him. How could you not think that? You think he's going to morph into a passer? McNabb couldn't. I mean, he couldn't. Now, listen, if Jalen was still wanting to run, that's a different conversation. Okay? Burrow was on a rookie deal. Thanks, brother. His legs are done. He's already looking slower. Listen, if Jalen Hurts was willing to run, that's a different – there's more years involved. But if he's not, that means he's gone back the other way. At this point, bring in Dougie P for an interview. Squash whatever beef you had years ago. I don't think there's a beef. I think it's got more to do with ego. Sills, would you hire to accommodate A.J. Brown? Yeah, I would. Yeah, I would. Here's how I would handle A.J. Brown. I'd have him come into my office if I was Howie. And I'd say this, dude, we're not trading you. This is not happening. However, I don't want you pissing and moaning in 26. What do we have to do? What do you want me to do? What do you want us to do? I have Nick there too. What do you want us to do? Trading you away is not the answer. They should have did this shit with Terrell Owens. They should have sat down with Terrell Owens and said, you two guys need to get a room, need to figure this out, and I don't care. Come back until you guys have resolved this because we can't win without you two. What happened after T.O.? The whole thing blew up, and you were never good again. How did that make you better, getting rid of Owens? You're going to repeat history again and get rid of AJ? How's that make you better? Who would I hire? Probably Greg Roman. Greg Roman needs a job, and Greg Roman would fit, in my opinion, with what Nick would want to do. Greg Roman's got a pretty good reputation. Those other guys, I don't know. I mean, Cooter's got a good reputation, though. He does. He's been in the Eagle organization. They may go there. You've already done and been down that road. You already know what Kingsbury wants. He wants to fire Jeff Stoutland. He wants to bring his own offensive line coach in. So they're not going to go there. So Hurts last year is 29? I think so. I think he's got 3 years left. They'll never do that with AJ because too many chefs in the kitchen thinking that they all have so many egos will get in the way. Right. All their egos are getting in the way. Sasha, absolutely true. This is why I say you have left 2 Super Bowls on the table. There's too many people with two. Like I said, there's too many roosters in the hen house here. 26 is going to be a repeat of this year. Yeah, but you're hoping you're healthier, right? Trust me, I dated a chick that acted just like AJ. From experience, just cut ties. Remember something. I'm going to give you a little insight. You want to take shit for the rest of your life, marry a hot chick. You don't want to take, and you want to be fed well, marry a fat chick. That'll always help you. Big Sills is here to help. Scott. I'd kiss this guy's ass. I'd let that guy. I'd let that guy. I'd bring him in and go, hey, AJ, you're not going anywhere, man. So wait a minute. This is what you do with AJ. You're going to take a cap hit. You're going to move him. You're a lesser player. You're losing Goddard. You may lose Lane. And you think you're better in 26? Based on what? Hope? Damn, Sills. So, thank you, Will. Appreciate it. Thank you. We are in year 6 of dual threat thing. It's not forever, correct? As much as Hurts wants to be legit passer, I'm afraid he doesn't have the runway or the skill set to improve before his legs decline. I don't think they bring in the coaches that William, they've coached him horrifically. They never worried about improving him, the passer, since 22. I ask you this question all the time. William, do you think they've made Jalen Hurts a better player since 22? Yes or no? You think they've made him a better player? I don't. I think he's a smarter player, and I think because of his work ethic and his understanding and seeing the game, I think that's why he wins. Sills, I feel like Hurts hit his ceiling. Well, Brady never got and became more exceptional. He became smarter. You get to a point in your skill where everybody in the world has a certain skill set, and you can't do anything about it. What you can do is you can work your mind, and you can become a smarter ball player by improving your football IQ. Brady's football IQ improved. His ability didn't. His IQ improved. Now you can work on your arm and your outs and your slants. But what made Tom better was his football IQ. I think that sounds awesome. Greg Roman as an OC and Vic Fangio as the DC. I don't know. I think that sounds pretty damn impressive. I think that's pretty good. How he paid Hurts. Jalen Hurts earned his money. Jalen Hurts has earned that money that he signed. I have no problem with the money. I thought it was going to be a question mark if he would pay off, if that contract that they signed with him, at the end of it, would you say that you got your money's worth out of Jalen Hurts? Yeah, I think you did. Now, I do think there's a chance that you could lay a couple eggs and not having more opportunities to win more Super Bowls. But I do think that he's earned that contract. Seals 23 was a turning point. They knew a higher passer volume led to significantly more mistakes. It seems clear they don't trust him. Yeah, I've said that. Nick Sirianni, no. And then when they tried to bring Moore's system in last year, in the first 4, they saw it. They knew it. Yeah, Greg Roman's still available. I don't have a problem with that hire. I happen to agree with Philly a little bit too. Who you hire, man, is almost irrelevant. You got to hire a guy. You got to hire a guy that can work with Nick. Remember, how many times have I told you, when you hire an OC in Philly, it's not for Jalen Hurts. It's for Nick. Who can work with Nick? Jalen can work with anybody. One thing, let's look at it on the other side. How many coordinators since Jalen was in college? Here, let me just Google that. How many coordinators? How many coordinators, offensive coordinators, has Jalen Hurts had? Okay. Lane Kiffin, Steve Sarkisian, Brian Dable, Mike Loxley, who's the Maryland head coach, Lincoln Riley, Doug Peterson, Sirianni, Shane Steichen, Brian Johnson, Kellen Moore, and Kevin Patullo. This will be his 11th since 2016. Well, one thing is for sure, Jalen Hurts can work with anybody. Right? Hurts ain't Nick's the one that can't work with everyone. It's Nick. It's not Jalen. It's Nick that can't. This is not on Hurts. This is Nick. Jalen Hurts has been working with 11. He'll be working on 11 coordinators since 2016. 11. And he's had success at Oklahoma, Alabama, and Philly. Nick's the one that struggles. If he doesn't get the coordinator right, he don't have answers against San Francisco. This is Nick. It's not Hurts. Use that as a positive for Jalen here. Okay? Who's had the most coordinators? Hurts. How's Hurts performed? Well, shit, he won an SEC title. He went to a championship game. He was a runner-up to the Heisman. I mean, he was a second-round draft choice, which is not awful. He won a Super Bowl. He won 2 NFC titles. He's back-to-back now division champs. I don't think that's him. I think the guy that struggles with the multiple coordinators is the coach. No. There really are not that many good OCs out there in free agency or the college ranks. This comes down to the quarterback, dude. It comes down to the head coach. So we've had Uche Kuche. Now we might have to name Cooter. I got you here, Cosmo. South Philly, some dude named Cooter being your OC. Okay? Nick must be fired, then Jalen needs to be benched. If it's Nick, then it should all come apart next year so they can move on from Nick. Hey, get this. Jeff McClain said, so you're telling me in the last 3 years that Jeff McClain is saying that Nick Sirianni was almost fired twice? Well, he's not. Then the record's a fraudulent thing. And the Eagles don't think much of him. Funny, when I ask Xander or anybody, and I get it, when you look at the record, they're like this. I can't tell, is Nick a good coach or not? According to Jeff McClain, Jeffrey Lurie thought of firing him twice in the last 3 years. How's that an endorsement of your head coach? When according to a beat writer for the Inquirer, they almost fired him twice. Even with that record. And then you hear people talking like Nick's some sort of great coach when the owner almost fired him twice. That's hysterical. I would fire Nick for not having the team ready to play hard in the playoffs. I don't think it had anything to do with that. I think the football team was out of juice. Dude, you were injured, and those guys were not playing well. They didn't play well all year. Actually, I'll take that back. They played well during the Fool's month of September. After that, you were 7-7. The rest of the way, it was 7-7. You didn't beat really good teams after that first month in September. So how's Nick outlasted Peterson's records are different? I get it, but both have won Super Bowl because Nick gets along with the front office better. Doug Peterson had his own way of doing shit. Nick goes along with what they're doing. It's smart. You want to be the head football coach? By the way, Nick Sirianni is carving out a Hall of Fame resume, doing it his way. You know how A.J. Brown is concerned about his resume? So's Nick. You think Nick's going to let some guy roll in here and upset the flow of that resume that he's building too? Hey, coaches have egos too. Take a look at Nick on the sidelines. You don't think he has an ego? This guy's got one of the best winning percentages in pro football history. You think he's going to let some snot-nosed guy in capri pants and a vape pen come in and go, hey, I'm going to do it? No, you're not. You're not doing that. That's not happening, kid. Says, you think Howie is looking at coach in the playoffs right now? Could be, like a coordinator. Could be. Yeah. Pass coordinator for the, what's that kid's name? What's that kid's name? Yeah. Nate Shilley Hassie is him. He's the passing game coordinator for the Rams. Yeah, he is. He was, let me see here. McVay, he's 35 years old too, and he's a young guy. And the Rams love him. He's the president pass game coordinator. He was the offensive coordinator and quarterback coach in 24, and they elevate him to passing coordinator. If I'm not mistaken, I think this kid played college football at Illinois. That sounds right. Somebody like that. Seals, do you have any insight of why two players retired midseason? I don't. I've never seen that, actually. You get all excited about coming in, and all of a sudden you're like, you decide to quit. I've not seen that before, especially with a team, and the team was winning then. I don't know what happened there. Seals, the difference is also in philosophy of team building, hence Nick having more success. How he drafted JJ and Andre Dillard in the same draft. I think he's gotten better since those drafts. I do. The head coach and the offensive coordinator are puppet jobs, and Howie's a puppet master who pulls the strings. Other coaches around the league know this and don't. Yes. Yes. Absolutely. Ask yourself this on Deuce Staley. Eric Bieniemy never got a really big job after he left Kansas City. I think he got a job at UCLA and a couple other ones. I don't really hear Deuce Staley's name being brought up as a high candidate type coordinator. Now, just because he was a great player for you, I don't know. Some guy, I don't really think Eric Bieniemy is a really great coach. I think Eric Bieniemy is an okay coach. I think Brian Flores is a spectacular coach. Okay, that guy is a spectacular. He's just spectacular. Okay, and wherever he goes, his contract, Minnesota's trying to re-sign him. But if the Dallas Cowboys get that guy, if I were the Cowboys, that'd be the dude I'd bring in. I wouldn't bring Christian Parker in. I'd bring Brian Flores in. You want to improve your defense? That's your dude. Of all the coaches that came off the Bill Belichick tree, Brian Flores, even as a head football coach when he was, if you want to really make it, I think Brian Flores would be a great coach for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Okay, I think he'd be a great coach. I like him. Seals of 26 is another wild card exit With Sirianni, yes, absolutely. Duke, they might fire him. Mike McDaniel walking the sidelines in his capri pants at the link, definitely not a Philly thing. I would want him in Philly just for the fans making fun of him on TV. You see that guy walking around with the shades, the capri pants, the vape pen. I would love it because it'd be great content. Nick Foles is that's not terrible. Hey, you know why that would work? Snap. A quarterback's vision of how he sees the game versus a guy who went to, became an OC. I don't have a problem with that. You know who I really like? Okay? You know who I really like? You should see Kirk Cousins now in that CBS desk. He was like on the CBS desk last week for the divisional round. Man, him talking about the quarterback position, I thought he was great. I learned a lot from him. Yeah, as much as I wanted McDaniel, he would get destroyed by the fan base. You know what he wouldn't? Reyes, if that offense was number 3 in the NFL and Jalen Hurts was a 4,500-yard passer and 30 touchdowns, the new fad in Philly would be capri pants. Okay? I mean, the new fad in Chicago is painted fingernails now. I mean, Caleb Williams has won that fan base over. Morning with Seals, can you get him on? I do know him. I've never thought about getting him on, but yeah. At this point, go get me Nick Foles. I don't think that's terrible. Because, I mean, again, whoever you hire as the OC, he's got to work with Nick. So imagine Jalen and Barkley and Caprice. I don't think you can have a pair of pants for Barkley's legs and Caprice. It kind of looked wild, wouldn't it? How about that one time when Mike McDaniel was running from the interviewer and the person trying to chase him with the mic? He's kind of an odd dude. If Nick outlasts Hurts, maybe he stays. Still, he gets his quarterback. Organization drafts Hurts. You think management is more in on Hurts or Nick? Great question. I think they're more in on Nick. Nick works with them. Nick's easier to fire. The quarterback is not here for a long time. Hurts is here 3 more years. Tops. Nick could be here another 7 years if this thing's done right. And they work with one another. Here, are we retaining the quarterback coach we got from Bowling Green? What's his name? Loeffler? Dude, who? Yes, probably. Because that's who Nick hired. That's another, again, if the new OC comes in and goes, I want a new quarterback coach, Nick's going to go like this. No. You think he's going to fire him? Hey, Jeffrey Lurie liked Doug Peterson too, didn't he? He says it all the time that he really liked him. Nick Foles for OC. Frank Reich is in the building. Maybe a quarterback coach, consultant. The fact he completely rebuilt the game plan for Foles was outstanding. Yes, well, if you think about it, as I said before, there were 3 backup quarterbacks that won you a Super Bowl in 2017. Foles was the backup. Frank was a perennial backup in the NFL. And Doug was a perennial backup in the NFL. They all had one thing in common. They knew they had to make a game plan for a backup quarterback in his skill. And that's why that magic worked. Okay? That's why it worked. Ever since Jalen had protection duty added to his plate, he's useless. It's a great take. Ever since they've asked him to set protections, he's looked worse. Yes, I agree. I do. All right, folks. Pay some bills here. Our good friends at Morgan & Morgan, the number one injury law firm in all of America, for a reason. It's because they win. $20 billion plus recovered. This will be the easiest decision that you ever make in your life if you've ever been injured on a job. This is a family-run business by John and Ultima Morgan. The kids are all involved, and they've been around for 25 plus years, getting you results. Here's the beautiful thing. They don't get paid unless you win. Simple as that. Go to forthepeople.com/big sales or pound law 529. That's forthepeople.com/big sales or pound law 529. And do me a favor. You tell them Big Sales sent you.
There's a reason the Karate Master was the #1 salesman in the lumber department.
Karate.
Just like there's a reason Morgan & Morgan is America's largest injury law firm. Injured? With over $25 billion recovered for our clients, there's a reason to go big. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Ignite your nights with free live entertainment daily, only at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia's Center Bar. 7 days a week, enjoy some of the region's top party bands, performers, and DJs as they take the stage in the heart of the casino action. Great cocktails, live music, and lively moments. It's all happening at Center Bar at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia. Visit livecasinophilly.com for more details and the complete list of upcoming events. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
This is Eric. When he got injured in a car accident, he called Morgan & Morgan. He not only gets a lawyer, he gets trial lawyers like Sam and Jessica who are in it to win it. He gets his own investigators with briefcases, leather ones. And if you ever have questions, our customer service folks keep things rolling. Injured? We're your army. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Welcome to the Jet Setters and the High Rollers, to the Shot Takers and the Tastemakers. Welcome to the Viewfinders, the Thrill Seekers, and the Night Owls. Welcome to everything you could possibly want on one 5-mile island. Welcome to the Wildwoods. Book your stay today.
In our hometown, we all look out for each other. We go the extra mile to lend a helping hand. We step up to keep our communities going strong. And at Independence Blue Cross, we're here to keep you going strong. We've been deeply rooted in our communities for more than 85 years. And that connection to members has earned us our spot as the #1 health insurer in the region. So while you look out for your neighbors, know IBX is always looking out for you.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on Sports Grid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
EAGLES. Eagles.
Can't wait to see what happens in the conference championship games, too. I think Denver's going to make that game closer than you think. I wouldn't go to sleep on Denver not getting that thing done against the Patriots. And I think Seattle, I think they're the best team in the NFL. We'll see what happens in this search for the OC for the Eagles. Joe, thank you. Big Z, thank you. 2 to 6 tomorrow, and we shall see you on the flip side.